What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another monthly call-in show. See?
Wait, what?
Oh, man.
Why are you wearing it?
I knew I was going to get this reaction out of you guys. But anyway, back to another monthly call-in show here on the Big Blue in the Bronx YouTube channel. A lot of shit to go over tonight. We'll send out the link in a little bit. What's up, everybody in the chat? Obviously, yesterday, the Jets beat the New York Giants. The Yankees started a brawl today. Well, it really wasn't a brawl. It was a bench clearing. But nonetheless, they lost the series. And then a couple other things to talk about as well with you guys. John, I'll start with you for first thoughts.
Well, first off, I got to ask, are those really your glasses or it's someone else's?
Well, okay, so these are not legitimate real glasses.
Okay.
These are fucking fake.
Okay. I was like, I've never seen this man with a pair of glasses in my life. So
no, I don't.
That's
have
number one.
I do not have vision.
I've only seen him with shades on, so
yes,
that's why I asked.
That's that. Yeah.
Number two, what is up, everyone? Jacob's in the chat. First to comment. What is up, guys? And I have to say, it was, me and Luca talked about it, but we will have a 53-man Jets roster for tomorrow's show, so I can't wait for that. And, the Mets continue to lose, even though they won today, but they really lost. Their wins don't really count. But they got no fight in them. Pete Alonso hit by a pitch Saturday, but no retaliation again. So shows you how tough they are. Thank you, Buck Showalter. But nevertheless, football is right around the corner. Fantasy football is also right around the corner. Anyway,
can I also play this in recognition of what went on today?
Sure.
The Yankees lose.
Yes, they did.
They did.
They did. Go ahead, Luca.
Luker.
You realize I'm never falling for that shit.
Okay. Luca.
What's going on, everybody? Hope all is well on this very Sunday evening. Last Sunday of August. Preseason football is on, obviously, if you're watching the Houston Texans and the New Orleans Saints. College football, obviously, is back on. Hopefully, we get more of that, obviously. Baseball sucks. And, thank you, everybody, for coming on here tonight.
Hold up,
Yeah,
Luca.
but you didn't even John, go ahead.
Hold up, Luca. You better announce to everyone who helped you with some college football gambling and
all right, John helped me with one of my bets that won me some money. I won about $33 this past weekend. I bet Jacksonville State on the money line plus 105, and I also bet USC and San Jose State over 65. So I think I should make it a weekly thing that I do bets on college football.
You make it a weekly thing that you waste money.
It's not wasting money if I end up winning it.
When he wins, it won't be a waste of money.
Whatever. But what was I gonna say? Shouts to everybody in chat. We got Brad, who has a new nickname for me because I do have the stylish glasses on. It goes, it's Four Eyes, Feeble, and Legend. Four Eyes and Feeble. That's alliteration. So we got it. Yes, we're going places. Booyah, what's up? Perm says that was loud. Yeah, I put the volume all the way up for that. The Yankees lose. Jacob said he was watching the draft show again. Luker did the Tostitos. Yeah, he's hitting 1,000 against those Tostitos.
Right? Yeah,
Back to that. Yeah, he did a great job. Saw some good things. He had some good swings. So, let's see what else. That show will demonstrate what not to gamble. Yeah, true. And then Brad says, "Hey, Four Eyes, don't go out in the sun. You'll set fire to the place."
Jacob, don't underestimate my abilities. All right.
John has abilities.
Ton of them.
What?
Yes, he said he has a ton of abilities.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And apparently, Alex just does not have the ability to hear tonight.
What? Okay. You know what? Do you want to get yourself ejected early?
Uh-oh. Dude,
We're
we're not even 5 minutes in the show. Do we already have a fight? Get out of here.
Yeah. But I want to hear because Luca mentioned none of it. John mentioned his own thing. Luca, what'd you think of the brawl that the Yankees won today?
Mm-hmm.
Yankees are fake tough guys. That's it. Nothing more.
Really? So that's all you have to say?
I literally have said multiple times on this platform that I will not rant. If somebody asks me a question about the Yankees, I will answer it. I will not rant. I will not go on any tangents. So with that, the Yankees are a bunch of wusses, and that team is no fight, no energy, no direction. That's why I don't watch games.
He says, I'm sorry, but I can't take Alexa seriously with those glasses on, bro. You see Tommy type. Oh, yeah, Tommy Canley. Yeah. Idiot. Seriously.
I saw that. That was
He
funny.
stumbled. Jesus Christ. Kerm says he makes him look smarter. Thank you. Thank you very much. He felt running out to the brawl. Yeah, I mean, like, I was tuned into game season, I'm not gonna lie. So I decided I wasn't gonna go to the gym today because I had a ton of channel shit to do and a ton of planning to do. And I still have more after this. And then what was I gonna say? After that, I tuned into game season because I'm like, oh, the Yankees are losing. Let me see what Pete has to say. So he goes, oh, there's a brawl coming out. I'm like, Luca, turn on Prime. So we saw what happened, and then all that other crap, you know. But I get it, and this is also corresponding to Yankees Twitter. I get it if you're a person who goes out there wants to defend their team and whatnot, but take the blue colored glasses off if you want to be honest and not a fanboy. Like, that's just I've got personally me, and I don't really care about this because I've gotten just several times because here you get the truth and here you get the honest facts, and I don't really sugarcoat that shit. But I'm a guy that says the Yankees have no testicles. I mean, that's number one. Number two is they shouldn't even have been in that fight because if none of you saw, by the way, one of the hit by pitches that happened today was Isaac Paredes getting plunked in the head. So again, it just doesn't make any sense. And the Rays were they were respectful, but they were very precise about the response. Obviously, Arozarena has owned us, by the way. So have the Rays this entire season. So you have that. And then Brandon Lau loved his post game. He goes, we got to focus on where we're going because guess what? They're in last place. If they lose a guy, it doesn't mean much. But if we lose a guy, it means a lot. So, and everybody got mad at like him, and they said, "Oh, Arozarena is a fake tough guy." I'm like, okay, all right, bud. Just remember who owns us. And I'm not a Stockholm syndrome person. I'm really not. I'm not a Stockholm syndrome person, but I mean, I don't know. But let everybody see with the blue colored glasses on. Mine are clear. See. But I mean, anyone else have any thoughts on that?
No.
Well, I just want to say, how many times did the Rays get plunked this series?
They got 12 four times today.
So
four times today, 12 in the season series.
So you could imagine there's some frustration over you get hit, especially 4 times in a game. Not the same person, obviously, but as a team, you get drilled 4 times. Yeah, I could imagine there should be some sort of response. And I get it. Some Yankees are frustrated, but like, you don't have to go plunking guys. I mean, I can understand accidents happen, but you do it 4 times in one game. It's quite clear what the intention is.
Yeah, and Boone said it was not intentional. I mean, like, no, listen, people
coming after do we really believe that?
No, I could care less if it was intentional or not. I'm just not going to support the Yankees in that aspect. Like, and then Brad, look at Brad's comment. But what was I going to say? Like, people always come after me on Twitter. I don't care because it fuels me, right? I'm a content creator that comes on here just like these fine gentlemen and whatever. But people say I got one comment because I basically told Ian Hamilton to shut the fuck up on Twitter. You guys know what he said?
Yeah, I heard the brunt of what he said.
John,
when you told me,
yeah, he basically said, if we had one more shot to play him,
yeah, nips and butts and candies and nuts would be Christmas.
Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, dude, you're a fucking nobody. Let's start with that.
You pitched like shit today.
You've pitched like shit. You plunk somebody in the head. So what are you talking? And then I got a couple people, respond to me. Oh, you're a fake fan. And then what was the other one? Oh, I missed the 90s when people would defend, when the Yankee fans would defend their own team. Like,
how can you fucking defend their own team now? We're a bunch of wusses that have no direction. What have you watched over the last 4 months plus years that would make you want to defend your team? What ample of pride as a fan say, you know what? I'm proud of this team. I'm totally proud of a 61 and 66 team. I'm so proud, guys. I have to defend my team on every aspect because I don't want to hurt people's feelings and show that I'm a fucking idiot fan.
Well,
let it out, Luca. There you
Luca
go.
broke a promise.
There you go.
I said I wouldn't rant, but you know what? I hate.
Go
I
ahead.
hate
I
Let
want
it
to
out.
hold on, Luca. Hold on. I want
Let
to
it out.
shout out. We got a lot of people coming in chat. We got Jets Turbulence.
What's
we got
up?
King Chris. We got Crossface Ray. We got Miz. We got Evan. We got King Chris. If I didn't say that already, we got to get to your guys' comments, Luca. But you were saying,
I just want to say what's up to everybody that's coming in the chat now. Thank you. I mean, how can you possibly defend your team? Did you actually do the fucking research? It's not hard, folks. Go on the phone. Look up on your computer. Look up on your tablet. It's not fucking hard. Look up that the Yankees have hit the fucking Rays 12 times in the season series, and you wonder why the team doesn't have has a target on their back? I mean, come on. Grow up, people. I mean, hold on a second. We're looking for these strong fans to rise against Brian Cashman, Hal Steinbrenner, and Aaron Boone. Like, I'm not calling every single fan out, but like these fans are so.
yeah, you go ahead, Miz. By the way, the link.
Ask a question. This is a Q&A session, please.
Yeah, this is a Q&A. Get the likes up. By the way,
first of all,
we got the link in the chat.
Crossface Ray, congratulations on beating us. You're going to probably beat us in the entire season series because your team is better than ours. We are straight trash. Some of our fan base is soft and wants to play Yankee Homerville. But I'm sorry, we don't live in fucking imagination land. Imagination.
Yes, Luca. That's
you can
all
ask a question, Miz. Yeah.
I begged for it yesterday. I begged for it in past shows. There you go. That's all you got to do.
No, I'm sorry. It's just like when people respond with such stupidity, you have to give them a stupid answer, or just don't even respond. Give them the attention that they fucking lack right now. I mean, where's your mind at? I want to ask, when somebody says that's some sort of stupid reply, like I missed the '90s when the Yankees defended the team. You know what, asshole? You know what you forgot to mention? That the Yankees were a proud team in the '90s, and they won 3 World Series in that span: '96, '98, '99. And they were proud teams that wouldn't let you bully them. Now we're like fucking what's the word I'm looking for? We're like fucking cardboard cutouts, but we're actually somehow humans, which doesn't make any sense. We're fucking robots.
You know what's funny is I got a comment because I always advertise the shirts and whatnot. We've gotten
the Rays stabbed the cardboard cutouts known as the Yankees. Nobody has a single ounce of damn pride on this team. And nobody fucking cares.
What was I gonna say? I said like the shirts have gotten tremendous sales. Fire Cashman, fire Boone, and someone's like, your online persona is only made based on negative of the Yankees. Well, first of all, you didn't really see that. Like my negative persona kicked in late 2021 when the Giants had Joe Judge as their coach. I called for Joe Judge to be fired in week 3 of 2021. Not many people remember.
Can't go against my team. It's against my soft personality. I can't go against my team. I have to agree with everything they say.
All right. I anything else, Luca?
I'm good. Next, I just want to answer comments.
All right.
I'm just happy that he did it. I'm happy that he let it out.
Yeah. Time for the Yankees to rip it up, build a young team around Judge. Yeah, but they also need to fire their dumbass manager
and dumbass general manager and dumbass front office.
I'm going to get to all the comments. I know there's a stream of them.
Yeah.
The Yankees act stupid and they play stupid too. Like Albert Abreu, like, what are you acting tough for, bro? You suck. You're a bum. I guess Luca was dead on that time. Yeah. I'm still mad we didn't sweep you guys. Well, I mean, you won the series. I guess, like, for a second-place team, I guess you want to do that. I don't know what the expectations were in your fan.
I understand his frustration, but I guess you take a small win out of it.
Miz is trying to joke around with John. Here he goes to the Mets fan. How many times will Mets get beamed and not go?
Miz, you asked a spot-on question. Okay. I have been, because it's funny. I literally talked about it with them privately. This wasn't even planned or anything. And I literally said to them, how come, like, anytime the Mets get drilled, and they were drilled so many times last year, they're drilled again the most in the league this year. How come anytime they don't retaliate? I mean, Alonso got plunked this series. Alonso got plunked against the Braves multiple times, and they just roll over and die. There is no fight back.
There's no life.
And, everyone's such a nice guy. There's no toughness on the team. None. I mean, Nimmo, nice guy. Lindor, nice guy. McNeil, nice guy. Everyone's got to be nice, No one.
You want to hear a hot
angry.
take, John? John, you want to hear a hot take from me? Aaron Judge is a big teddy bear.
I mean, call it what you want, yeah. But again, the Yankees showed some frustration. The Mets have no frustration with losing.
Yeah,
they came into it. I understand. I don't watch this team anymore. I can't do it to myself. Why would I? I was very happy that they were on Peacock today because it gave me the opportunity to watch them for 0 minutes and 0 seconds today. But nevertheless, I mean, just too many nice guys on the team. Okay, no frustration, and it's all with Buck. And I'm tired of the defense for Buck. What's the defense now that we have no toughness on this team? What's the defense? Oh, we're building this team chemistry with all these AAA guys. We're right in there. I'm proud of these at bats. Oh, I'm so happy. It's just a joke.
I mean, can I add, in Yankee land and Met land, the culture, it's like, Daddy, can we get candy canes and ice cream cones and go see Santa Claus so he can give us our free gift for Christmas?
I didn't even care. I know they had a nice little walk-off win today in the 9th. Rafael Ortega, woo! So happy. You're not on the team next year, bud. But I would have been happy with the series if they plunked someone. Go plunk Ohtani. Or in the Brave series, go plunk Acuna. Go throw something at Olsen or Riley. Go throw it at someone. Show some fight. Especially against the Braves, who by the way, their manager had this to say that he was too busy as his team was kicking the snot out of the Mets as they rolled over and died. He was too busy making jokes about Danny Vogelback. He said Brian McCann would beat him in a race, and Brian McCann's retired.
Didn't Ozzy Albies come out and say it's always good to beat the Mets?
Yeah, so it feels great because they're kicking the snot out of us. We are the snot that gets kicked. They're terrible. It's just an awful and I don't want to hear that now it's AAA guys. We had all these veterans we stunk to. There was no toughness when we had the veterans either. Okay? The only toughness I saw out of Scherzer was, when he was happy that his buddy got traded. Oh, boo-hoo, you suck too. And you know what? I'm not wishing this against the Rangers, but I kind of want Scherzer to miss the playoffs. I want him to so badly because he's such a I'm glad. I hope the Mariners keep winning. I hope they do.
So you think Max Scherzer's an ass fart?
Yeah, he is. He never came. No clutch. That's another thing. No toughness. No clutch. I mean, it's just characteristics you need to have as baseball players, and they don't.
Right.
And it's just embarrassing. Yes. Miz brings up a great point.
Yeah.
They were relevant in 1986. Yeah, you know what? They had some toughness on that team. You think some of those guys would let that stuff slide? No. They would plunk you. They go charge. They don't care.
Doc, Darrell, Gary Carter, Keith Hernandez, Mookie
Ron
Wilson,
Darling,
Wally Backman.
Yeah. You think that they would allow that? Nope.
No, yeah. And just again, it goes the same with the 90s, but we have a couple of comments to address. We lost our 8 rubber game. Let's go back to Aiden's comments. He says Cashman is to blame a bit. The Yankees are horrible, man. I think he's more than a little bit to blame, personally. Me,
a lot to blame.
Lenny Dykstra's another name.
Dykstra was a psycho. Mookie
Doc
Wilson,
Gooden.
Doc.
Yeah, a lot. Darryl Strawberry, a lot of
Strawberry.
and,
And I'm glad that despite what some of the fools out there say, I'm glad that Doc and Darryl are having the number retired. I've seen some ridiculous nonsense. They deserve their numbers retired.
But
Everyone else can kick rocks.
But I will say, John, it kind of looks like a money grab.
I understand it is, but it should have been done long ago.
That's true.
Right.
I agree with John.
Like,
on this
what I
point.
will say is, I think maybe Luca, tell me I'm wrong, but doesn't it seem like what the Yankees did last year when they had Paul O'Neill's number retired? Except Gooden, I think, had a better career maybe.
Dwight
with the
and
Mets.
Doc and Darryl started their career with the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
They're Mets legends. They were helping to win the '86 title. They would have been surefire Hall of Famers if drugs did not destroy their.
Yeah, no, I mean,
So there is I think more reason behind it.
but
No, yeah, that's exactly.
regardless, do they like? Are they really going to say that's that was the reason? Because and what? All of a sudden they didn't do drugs. It didn't disappear. Like it's still going to be part of them. By the way, there is a documentary out on that whole thing with Doc, Darryl, Dykstra, all those guys. So like, take a look at that documentary. Pretty sure it's on ESPN.
Right.
That put it out, but nevertheless,
Miz says he's flying up for October 29th, which is the Giants-Jets regular season game, which I will be most likely attending. And I can't wait to see Miz again. I met him last year at FanFest. And then Luca may be there as well. So
yeah, I'm hoping to go.
Get some Giants and Jets involved. And I know Miz's friend Chris Bucco's a Jet fan. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. By the way, guys, I mean, let me pin it. I got to go scroll up. But if you want to call in, ask us a couple of questions or whatnot, or just keep it in the chat, whatever you guys prefer. StreamYard link, Big Blue Crew Barbecue. That is damn right, Miz. Doc and Darryl should have their numbers retired a decade ago at least. So Brad even knows.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree, Crossface. At least Notre Dame looked
smack the shit out of.
I mean, it was against Navy, but again,
Right.
like they demolished them. Which
to me, the hope
Irish.
Yeah, of course, go Irish. Obviously, I'm a fan. But to me, the thing is, like, the Fighting Irish, I mean, I'm just going to say this, and then we'll go into more of the comments. But, like, somebody was saying this, mentioning about how the Dame essentially have a power run game now behind the offensive line, which is, to me, always great. Obviously, Joe Alton left tackle and all. But what's going to help the Irish this year is they have a respectable quarterback under center in Sam Hartman. And he could throw the deep ball. Obviously, you saw in yesterday's game against the Navy. Now we'll see what it does against major opponents like Ohio State, USC, and all. But you know what? It just opens up for the ground game because they're not running into a stacked box every time. Drew Pye's not the quarterback. Jack Cohen's not the quarterback, and Tyler Buchner's not the quarterback. So we have a respectable quarterback who played in the ACC, 38 touchdowns last year, set records or was close to records from. Phillip Rivers, actually. So, yeah, I have hope in the Fighting Irish.
Right. A couple more comments to get to, of course. We got the Tigers next and the Astros. Let's see where they are after this trip. Well, the Tigers, you would expect 2 of 3 for the Yankees to take. And listen, call me a negative fan. If they win 2 of 3, whatever. Like, you're supposed to beat the Tigers. If you lose, that just goes more to say that this team sucks. Just my personal opinion. Got a couple more comments upwards, of course, and then I get to the more recent ones.
By the way, I just want to say that if you're watching the Saints-Texans game, Jimmy Graham is looking like prime Jimmy Graham. Like, he caught a touchdown pass. He's caught a couple of receptions. Like, he looks good.
Aiden, I would agree, Aiden. I mean, I don't know how much hope there is for the Yankees, but you should try to win these games. I would say 6 wins and under. Maybe even 7. That's a disappointing season. What else we got here? Yes, I do remember this. Most definitely before your time. I was at the Armando Benitez brawl, which was one of the more. And you know what? You know what's funny about you say that, Miz? George Steinbrenner actually came out and basically took shots at the Orioles after that. Al Steinbrenner, if the Yankees were to get into a brawl today, and like it was the other team's fault, he would not say anything. He would stay in his little house and all these different things on his boat. Like, he would not say anything. And you know what's also funny is Armando Benitez was a Yankee about 7 years later. I feel terrible for Garrett Cole. Yeah, I mean, the Yankees are, wasting his prime away. I give Aaron Judge blame too. He's the captain. But no, I mean, listen, look, Evan, that's a great point. Like, Aaron Judge did not get a single hit this series. I'm not Sal Licata. I'm sorry, John. I know he's your favorite here.
No, he's not. Don't say it. Don't you dare say that.
But he is a part of the team that's losing. So you can't really say, oh, it's not Judge's fault. Oh, he's carried the Yankees. You got to place some criticism on him. I mean, yeah, I respect the fact he carried us last year's first few years, but he didn't get a single hit this series. And we're calling this a wannabe, like, re-energized playoff run.
What's the term that I'm looking for? The guy that calls out other guys in the locker room, not a captain or a leader. If he wants to be like a head honcho
Spark
captain,
plug? Alpha male?
Alpha male, thank you. He's got to be more of an alpha male, honestly. He's got to be more of an alpha male. I know he's leads by example. He's silent and all that. But wait. Yes. I just saw a trailer for Kitchen Nightmares.
Oh,
Fox.
boy. Here we go.
Here we go, these idiots. Great show, fellas. Love the passion. Let it out before they cancel venting feelings.
Yes, sir.
John is so proud right now.
I was proud when Luka was giving that rant. I was.
Big Blue coming for Dak? Yeah, I hope so, man. 2 weeks away. Actually, it's less than 2 weeks away, technically, because the game would have started at 8:20. The Jets have traded Zach Wilson to Guantanamo Bay torture chambers in return for Joe Douglas and has acquired El Chapo, enormous upgraded backup quarterback. I remember that there was a similar comment made. What was it with the Josh Donaldson thing? And Brian brought up that he was going to AAA Afghanistan. But Jets turbulence nonetheless is funny. I wonder. I know Joe usually is in control of the Twitter, and I could tell when he starts the fights. But I don't know if this is Dan either, because Dan also has a side where, he's pretty funny.
Make sure to go check them out, guys.
Yeah, Jets turbulence. They do a lot of good stuff over there.
They keep it real.
I am a gentleman, Brad. Corbin should make the roster. No, I agree, King Chris. I agree totally. I don't think they're going to keep 4 running backs, but if they do, he's 4 eyes looks dumber than Frank the Tank. I'm not.
Wow, that's pretty rude.
I would like to say that I am smarter than Frank the Tank, but anyway. Also, shots to Anthony Medina in the chat.
What's going on, Medina?
Man?
Yankees need to ditch the analytics. It's not working. Just play the game of baseball how it's played, because without the use of analytics, it's helping us all to where we want to go. No, I agree. And like I said it a few days ago, that I was going to make a video on the Yankees front office. I'm going to do it eventually. I'm not doing it tonight though, because I have a shit ton of things to get done that are more. I can make a Yankee front office video within the next week. The Yankees will lose games. Like that's just not the Yankees are not winning 6-7 in a row. So I have time to do that.
I agree with Aiden's point, but I don't, because the Yankee propaganda machine known as the Yes Network will try to sell you, the Yankees need to throw the analytics away, this, and this. Listen, I'm an old school baseball fan. If you haven't already talked to me already or known, I'm just going to say it. I'm an old school baseball fan. I understand what analytics do. The problem is the Yankees do not have the right analytical people in the front office. They're all people that have been there since 2000, 2001. They don't understand the new analytical era of baseball in terms of what analytics are good, what analytics do. The Yankees used it as a game plan. It should be like a suggestion, not a game plan. And as I said, the Yankees have had front office members. You obviously have Mike Fishman run the analytics department. He's been there since 2005. Mm-hmm. So it's been a long time, and they've been gotten way too comfortable. And it's outdated. You could go to Alex's point when he talks about what the Giants used to have with under Joe Judge. All those front office members used to be I think it was Bobby called it Giants lifers.
Yeah. They were Giants lifers. They've been there since like 2000s. Older guys that had no business being there, and they felt comfortable. You don't want to really have people feel comfortable. Crossface Ray says Yankees are too old. Half their roster is out of their prime. Yeah, no, I agree.
It's hodgepodge.
Mike hodgepodge. Moran, what's up? He says, wouldn't it be funny if we claim Syndergaard off waivers? Can't be worse than Carrasco.
I mean, don't even, boys. I have what's it called? I told you this for a few weeks now. Carlos Carrasco, by far. And we've had some big stinkers on this team, whether it's Vogelback or some of these bullpen arms. Carrasco is the worst player by far on this team. Worst. The fact that they throw him out there every 5th day is embarrassing. I mean, he's unwatchable. His ERA in his last 5 starts is over 9. He's in the 6s in his total ERA. His first inning ERA is atrocious. He's up there with the most homers. He's awful. This dude is, and God bless him. I know he's come back from leukemia. Okay, I know that was a serious battle for him. I know he's pitched well in the past, but this guy is just dead weight. That's what he is. There's the best way to describe him. Dead weight. Please let Lucchesi pitch every 5th day. Call up a prospect like Mike Vassell. Get him off the team. Goodbye.
There you go. It's a 4-game series against the Tigers. Was up, Medina? Thoughts on Alabama this year? I don't know who their quarterback is. I mean, I would expect Alabama to be at the top of the college football, uh, rankings and all that sort of stuff. So they're probably the most athletic program there is in the country. So, as I said, I mean, excited for football season, and also excited for college football season. So there's a lot of different things.
I mean, I don't know if Bama's gonna win it, but like they'll probably be up. They'll probably be a playoff team.
Yeah, I forget who their backup quarterback is. I don't know the name off the top of my head. What is up to Daniel Berry Sports? Joe Girardi was a good manager. He had a good roster, unlike Aaron Boone with this current bad roster that we have. Not good. I mean, he also got the most out of his players. That's what I will say. He got the most out of his players. He was very much a disciplinarian. Shouts to Armand in the chat. No, because I was like going at, and Aiden brings up a good point. I was going at somebody in a little bit of a debate on Twitter. So when I went on their show, and he's like, because I basically pressed all the points. Aaron Boone is not a good leader. They respect him. They don't respect him. He's more like a friend to them than someone who's running a business or someone who's a boss. And look, I'm not saying that he should be Joe Judge, boot camp type guy, but you need someone in there who's going to get the job done. If I was to let's take this into perspective, right, guys? If I'm friends with all of you, of course, because that's how that goes. And Luke is obviously my brother. That's why I dragged him into this. Anyway, so if I was to sit here and let you all just run ragged, but I wouldn't fire you guys because you were my friend, would that make me would that make me good at my position?
No. You'd be a garbage boss.
Exactly.
100%.
This channel would go fucking nowhere.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying you got to separate personal from business. And like Brian Dable, I think, is like the perfect model of a coach. I'm not saying he's the perfect coach, but he's kind of like the perfect model. He knows, he wants to build a relationship with his players, but he knows, like, hey, do not cross this boundary or I will get on you. He gets on his players all the time. Like, he wants Daniel Jones to succeed. Giants fans got very happy week 1 of last year when they saw Brian Dable going after Daniel Jones. I think he threw like an interception or something. But you know what? He was like, you know what? He can't make those mistakes. And he gets on him. And he knows when there's a limit. Obviously you don't want either extreme where you're too much of an asshole or too much of a soft cupcake like the Yankees. So you need the type of happy medium, should I say. That's what I'm saying.
I don't mean to cut you off, Luca, but he does it in the preseason games. You see his face on the sideline.
He's screaming at the offense when they're not getting it done.
Yeah,
right, 100%. Like, the thing with Boone is, there are people defending Boone, whatever. Boone, and this was recent. You could go back to the series finale on Thursday after the Yankees lost to who was it? The Nationals. They lost in a 3-game set. They weren't swept. They lost 2 out of 3. Aaron Boone, first comments to open up the press conference when asked a question. Harrison Bader hit it well, but it would have been out if it wasn't drizzling. Excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse justifies losing. And players continue to take advantage.
Really close to turning the corner.
And players continue to take advantage of him. I don't respect him as a manager. I don't respect him for anything.
Shouldn't. Like, someone said to me on Twitter, and it's public domain, so I'm not attacking anybody. Someone said, have some respect, because I went at Aaron Boone. Someone said Aaron Boone is giving the business right now because he was in a conference with Kevin Cash and the umpires after that whole brawl. And I'm like, yeah, no, Aaron Boone ain't giving the business. He's offering them cupcakes he's offering them red velvet cupcakes. And then someone's like, you should have some respect. I'm like, I'm not going to have respect for somebody who's obligated to be a puppet, and they don't have respect for us fans.
They said he got bullied by an umpire. He said he got bullied by an umpire 2 years ago. He said we were also crazy if we thought Josh Ellison wasn't going to have a bounce back season.
Bounce back on the fucking IL. That's what he had. Bounce back on the IL. Aiden says, Cashman, we don't have any time left. Don't know who's feeding you this information. We don't have time, man. Just learn from the season and try the postseason run next year. I mean, you can't I don't know if this is the idea you're getting at, Aiden, but of course we're having a conversation. You can't run it back. Like, let me know what you're thinking truly, because running it back is not going to do it. Like I don't buy health as an excuse.
Mhm.
So that's just my opinion. Brad, no, I fired none of them, and Sox will be here probably next Thursday. So not this coming Thursday, but next Thursday when we do the Lions game. No, I know. Listen, look, Giants Chronicles. I know. I'm just bringing it up that there was because Aiden brought up a thing about Cashman. We were having a whole Giants conversation. No, I know you're not defending Boone. It's all public domain. You know, you were basically saying about leadership, and it was just a conversation. So I respect you. I was just bringing it up because I've gotten a lot of other comments on Twitter that basically going after me and stuff. But you're good, man. Don't worry about it. We know we need more pieces, man, and players, right? But it needs to start with the leadership too. It needs to start with the leadership. Brian Cashman, Hal Steinbrenner, Aaron Boone. Again, I've said it for weeks. They all need to go. And listen, and as we were having this debate once again with Giants Chronicles on Twitter, I'm not taking blame away from the players. Stanton's garbage ass, his swing, his past his prime stuff, that's not stuff you could blame on Aaron Boone. You really can't blame that on Brian Cashman either. So we shouldn't have taken Stanton's contract on. I mean, that was I will put this in Luca's words. It was a luxury at the time. The Yankees traded for him. It wasn't necessarily a need. They just moved it around. So,
hold on about it because he's right on that. But may I add?
No,
because shut it. But Giancarlo Stanton's viewed as this huge power hitter, correct? Alex,
yes.
Other than
yes,
his MVP season,
he's not been an all-star.
What happened?
Except for 2022, he's not been an all-star. If that's the point.
No, I'm saying his MVP season in 2017.
Luca disappeared, so he might be breaking up a cat fight.
Oh, it's amazing. Thank you, Luca. But I was gonna say, other than the 2017 season when he hit 59 bombs, this man has never hit 40 homers in a season.
I think the most he hit was what, 38? 38 in his first year?
Other than that MVP season, yeah, 38 with the Yankees. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's near 400 homers as a player, like a career.
And you know what the problem with that is, John?
Mm-hmm.
Is that even if you could come out in here and say, well, this, and this, or make your scenarios about, oh, they should have gotten Harper, they should have gotten Machado, whatever, it just shows you that the Yankees are currently wasting his prime and have wasted his prime because he looks nothing like the player he was. I think you could agree with it. I've been calling that he's been like slowly deteriorating career-wise since 2021. Like we've been told. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and start slamming the horn and saying I'm right. I don't want to be right about these things.
I think I was the first one to tell you guys. I mean, not that you needed to like be told, but I was the one screaming for him. I said, he's been horrible. He's been awful.
The Yankees have, and this goes to a lot of different things the Yankees have done. They have not been able to get proper outfield help or make a decision in that area because of Giancarlo Stanton. And it's not the only one. Aaron Hicks has been, obviously that was a whole garbage route. Mm-hmm. You had Joey Gallo, a whole garbage route there, but they haven't been able to get like a full-time, another outfielder, a full-time DH because they don't know what they want to do with Stanton. He plays in the field, he gets hurt. He sits as a DH, guess what? His stats aren't as good. I'm just bringing up points. Sean Casey knows what the hitters are going through. I like Sean Casey. I think Casey, to be honest, though, what difference is he making?
I don't know.
I don't see
it.
Personally, me, like, if you're seeing something different, that's fine, and we could disagree, Aiden. I don't really see the difference he's making. That's my problem, is I see the Yankees when the biggest pointer was two things, John. And Luca, of course. The Angels series, where the Yankees struck out like a record 44 times in 3 games. There's something similar against the White Sox, if you guys remember that. They were struck out like a shit ton of times. Now, I will give you that. Okay, yeah, the White Sox are top 2 in the AL in strikeouts. But that doesn't mean you strike out against, what, a 4th-place team?
Right.
Dylan Lawson wasn't helping at all.
You know what?
Garbage.
I got to tell you this. Dylan Lawson was most likely the scapegoat and all that. That's what he was. I mean, because you're basically saying, well, the reason, why we weren't hitting this much to start is, this guy wasn't a good hitting coach. Well, now what's the excuse? What's the excuse now? It can't be Sean Casey's fault. He just got here. I'm not saying, right. He's no blame in this, but it can't be all his fault. I mean, he's been here, what, month and a half?
Right,
Is
and
that
that goes to
correct?
the analytics department. And then Sean brought this up like maybe 2 years ago. You seriously have to wonder. Marcus Thames, right? He was an old hitting coach of the Yankees. I think most recently he was with Miami. When he was the minor league coach for the Rail Riders, the hitting coach, they were hitting bombs. They were doing really well down there. Comes up to the majors, nothing. The Yankees not hitting. 2021, 2022, 23. They bring up Dylan Lawson from the minors. He was in that same spot as Marcus Thames. Nothing, nada, no results. And the worst part about it is, look, I respect the experience that Sean Casey has had at the big league level. It's not something to just push under the table. But the problem is he was on TV for a little while, and he's coming into an organization that's very stern on their half-ass approach.
Mhm.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
No, you're right. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, they have been a sad bunch of losers.
Bunch of assholes.
Yeah, that too.
It's essentially what it is. I was gonna say, got to get a couple of comments, more shots to Ron. Thank you guys for being here, by the way. Luca deserted us again. We had teams that were so bad we couldn't do anything against. Yeah, no, like the White Sox, the Angels, the Cardinals, the Nationals, the Rockies, the Cubs. That's like some of the worst teams. All right, let's do a study. Ready for this? We're gonna do a study here, John.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to the MLB standings for like the National League in total. Rockies, worst team in the NL, lost a series to them.
Yep.
Cardinals, lost a series to them. That's the second worst team. Split with the Mets. You could talk about that however you want.
They're a bad team too.
They're a bad team. So if you want to consider that, that's like 3 failures right there. The San
They
Diego
split
Padres,
twice.
yeah, exactly.
They split twice.
The Padres, I mean, we beat them in a series, so that's fine and well. That's in May. The Nationals, that's what, 4 now. We're counting. The Reds, we beat. The Cubs, who are excelling, but still at the time they were bad. Let's be real with that. So, no, those are just a list of teams that the Yankees were better than. They couldn't do anything.
Oh, and your record against the AL East this year has not been pretty either.
It looks like the Red Sox record last year.
Yeah.
Let's see. In division, let me look this up. Hold on. I got this wild card expanded. Hold on. Day, night versus division. Here we go. East 16-26. 16-26.
It's terrible.
That's awful.
You need to beat your division opponent.
Yep. And you know what? It's a right-hand dominant league. They're under 500 against right-handed pitching. So that just tells you everything you need to know. Since we're having a bad season, maybe next year will be better after they make changes. What changes, though? Like, I'm not asking you that question. I'm just saying, what changes will they, quote-unquote, make? What evaluations will they make in the offseason? The Yankees are so dumb, they would put Yadier Molina in the outfield.
Oh, leave Molina alone. He didn't do anything wrong.
I mean, that would be true, though.
No, yeah.
They were teams like the White Sox that we weren't streaming. That's why I'm frustrated. We should have won that. We should have won multiple series. Like, again, the Mets, we literally called it both times. We're going to sweep. Not sweep. Going to split.
Split.
But, we know what happened. Let's see. Yankee 2024 lineup. Donaldson. Oh, God, not Donaldson first. No. I can't take that. Can't. Judge.
Oh, you got both.
No. I swear to God, if the Yankee is he even a free agent?
Yes, he is.
No. If the Yankees sign
That'll be the Yankees version of left-handed power.
I will take my glasses and break them on air if Daniel Vogelback is a New York Yankee. Stanton, LeGroundow, Golden Boy, which is Anthony Volpe, IKF, Work Vet, and Anthony Rizzo. I don't think Anthony Rizzo would be 9th, but he'd still be in the lineup. What else we got here? Yankees need to explore the international market like Japan. Yeah, there's Yamamoto, there's Murakami.
But their pro scouting apparently has sucked, and the head of that is former Yankee pitcher Matt Daly. Apparently, they just hire random idiots.
Whoa. Hold on. You said the pro scouting director of the New York Yankees is Matt Daly.
He's one of the pro scouts.
Ouch.
Matt fucking Daly. I bet most of you in the chat don't even know who that is. And that's not saying you guys are stupid or anything. Matt Daly's a fucking bum.
Ski
My
bum.
God. My God. I did not want to hear that tonight.
Sure you did.
They hired him right after he retired.
See, you know what? You know what I could say is this. If you're a bum in the NFL, most of at least a good portion of the time you're a quarterback or something, you will get a coaching job. Like Kellen Moore, he wasn't any good. He's an OC now. Damn it. Let's see. Doug Peterson. I think he
Kevin
was
O'Connell was a backup quarterback for his entire career. Was he now? He's a head coach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that doesn't translate in baseball, at least in this area. Matt Daly is your scouting director? Come on. This team is so bad in the contract. The contracts are terrible. Like their contract
could be a horrible contract.
And I don't want to make so many assumptions yet on that contract because, like, I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, I wanted him," so this, that, and the other thing. No, because they're smarter than us. They're the fucking front office. But I wanted Rodon, and I'm like, I don't want to go there yet. But it just hasn't looked great to start. But also, here's the problem: the Yankees should have known that Rodon was not going to be 100% of himself coming back from injury.
They have the medicals. We don't.
Right. I don't have that information for you guys. Jacob, peace out, my man. Night, boys.
We'll be back tomorrow.
Yes, we'll be back tomorrow. I mean, we're going to be going as long as you guys give us questions and stuff like that. But tomorrow, 8:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the Boys in the Big Apple podcast where we're going to do mostly a football discussion because, there's Giants and Jets football, 53-man roster predictions, though the cuts have been made today. So, as I said, we're accepting all questions sports-related. The bullpen needs a makeover again. It's like they don't look terrible on the stat sheet, but they look terrible. Like Ian Hamilton, I think he's probably got an ERA over 4. Abreu sucks. He should not be on the team. Let's see what else.
You did a good job of hitting.
You know what? I didn't even mention this on the show. Now I don't know how much you could take out of this, John, but guess who was at the Jets game yesterday?
Oh.
Now, you could say, oh, well, these guys don't really travel with their teams. Nestor Cortez. Now, hypothetically, you would think he would be with the Yankees, but I guess not. They don't travel. Yankees are scouting Jung-Ho Lee. Yeah, I've heard that name a couple of times. See, here's the problem, though, Crossface, is that you don't pay a pitcher $160 million to pitch in the bullpen. Maybe in like 5 years you will, but if that would be an ultimate, and maybe that would be what he needs or something like that, but that would be a terrible, terrible use of assets for the New York Yankees. But with that being said, I'm going to get your guys' questions and comments, but we do have a caller to welcome on, and that is our buddy from Jets Turbulence, Armand.
Hello, everybody.
What's up, man?
What's up, Armand?
What's up, my man?
I'm doing good.
Man. Well, at least we're all focused on our football teams.
Yes, thank God.
Thank the Lord.
The Mets, of course, had to fuck up today and win.
No, thanks. You see, I'm rooting for I don't want them winning games. Why?
I don't want them to win games either. I want them to lose every game. Keep putting out Cookie Carrasco. He was a bum in May and June, but now he's our Lord and Savior to just give up 7 runs in every game.
You know what? You might have me there, but I mean he's just off. It's like, would I rather them lose with veterans or with young players? Like,
well, we would rather let them lose with young guys, but right now we just have veterans that we have no choice. I'm just happy Steve Cohen kept to his word at the end of the shitty June press conference. He's like, there's no point to buy when he was asked that.
7-19.
Oh,
they
yeah.
went 7-19.
7 wins, destroyed our season.
It was awful. And it still mind boggles me to this day how some of these players, and we talked about it about a month ago, or especially around the trade deadline season, but it was just mind boggling how guys like Scherzer would come out and say, oh, I'm really upset, that they're trading my buddy and a really good relief pitcher away. Well, you didn't help. He never helped.
No. He hasn't helped since June of last year. September, he shit the bed against the Braves. They shit the bed against
the Padres.
The Padres in the
game
wild
one
card.
It was 7-0.
We were doomed. I had no faith in them going into the wild card game.
I had more faith, but I that was stupid of me. But
no, all what happened was it delayed the inevitable, putting Jake on Saturday. Even if you put Jake on Friday, you still were losing Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, you still you couldn't hit. You couldn't hit.
But so much for David Robertson.
You know what? I actually heard that he's out of the closer role in Miami now. He's been awful.
Yes, I can.
Really?
It's pretty funny. Yeah, no, his ERA is like a 7 with them.
He's given up like 10 earned runs.
Yeah, it's been bad. But you know what? I don't care. We got prospects for him. Whatever.
Just don't bring him back next year. Don't bring him back.
You know what? I would take him back in another 1-year deal.
I would not. I'd rather go sign Jordan Hicks.
It's a little wild. I've been looking at like guys they could sign. I mean, he throws very hard, but his command concerns me. But again, we got to ask though.
Could always bring back Syndergaard, who just got
I mean, exactly. For the tank process. I mean,
I would only bring back Syndergaard and put him in the bullpen. I think he should really think about that for how hard he throws.
He does, but
remember, he did close out the minor league All-Star game in Citi Field when he was in the farm system.
Mm-hmm. When he was actually good, yes.
Yeah.
But no, it's funny because I saw that Syndergaard thing and I'm like, well, like the Dodgers, like they bring up really good pitching, they fix guys, and like then he went to Cleveland in the Rosario trade, another former Met, but like Cleveland, they couldn't fix him either. I'm like, is he that awful now? Where it's like not even the great organizations or good organizations can fix you.
He's like Dallas Keuchel.
Not even.
Yeah, I mean, at least Dallas Keuchel has a job.
Like
he's fallen off not due to like Harvey fell off due to drugs and injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Syndergaard just lost his talent.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but it's just. Yeah, you know what?
That's true, right?
He was the guy that threw it Utley. He was, and you know what? I appreciated that. Armin, I gotta ask because it's mind-boggling. I understand they're garbage. I get it. They got like half the AAA squad. I understand. I saw they brought Jeff Brigham back on the team today. I don't know why.
They did.
I don't know why, but I was
because they got nobody. They got nobody with upside. That's on the 40-man roster.
It's like nobody exists with upside in terms of pitching. But anyway, I gotta ask, like, what do you think of them just like standing back and just like allowing them to get hit by pitches and nothing happens? Series after series.
It's a fucking disgrace. No offense. Yesterday was the epitome of what happened when Pete got thrown at. And granted, it was accidental. It wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
But still, there's so many. Like, what if he got stretchered off the field yesterday?
Thank God he didn't.
The
one player who's kind of giving it to him.
Somebody should have thrown. And as much as I love him, and I want him here next year for the bidding war of 2024. Somebody should have thrown at Ohtani. Throw at his ass. Throw at his hip. I mean, no offense. Look at how long it took for the Mets to throw at Clemens when they came to Citi Field. And it took Sean Estes, not even a guy that came up through our system, fucking Sean Estes, to throw at Roger Clemens to defend Mike Piazza.
Good.
Not Al Leiter, not a Turk Wendell. Nobody. And Sean Estes, a San Francisco Giant.
Sure, he should have done it. Good.
I commended Sean Estes for doing it.
I'm glad. I mean, it's funny.
Like, if you're going to throw at somebody on the Angels, you should have thrown at Ohtani, and maybe he would have did the Tommy John surgery. And I think he should do it. And if a team is smart, you give him an 11-year deal. So even if you technically lose him for all of next year, you have him on a 10-year contract.
Well, the only thing is it's going to be his second surgery because it's a second UCL tear, so I don't know how he's going to recover from that. But I do say this, a lot more pitchers are getting hurt in this day and age, and it's like crazy.
Because they want them to throw over 105 miles an hour.
Yeah, everyone's throwing over 100.
Exactly.
He's right. No, you're absolutely right.
It's like if the United States got rid of speed limits and everybody started driving 100+ miles an hour in every city, street, and highway, you're gonna have more car wrecks. You're gonna have more accidents and car deaths.
Could you imagine that in New York? That'd be awful. That would be so bad.
Well, people already drive like there is no speed limit.
I know.
Carrasco, the tank commander, Miami has fallen off. No. I have to look into him.
I thought Sasaki.
I think he's going to be another 2 or 3 years till he comes over.
Yeah, I don't think he's been posted yet. I know Yamamoto has.
It's Yamamoto this year. I think in 2 years it's going to be Roque and Murakami.
Yeah, I like Yamamoto. I've seen his stuff. I would go after him. I would.
Can we talk about the Alonso rumor going around about him being shopped?
Yes, I can't hold. So I'll say this: I can't see in a world where he gets traded to the Brewers because they've literally had.
What are you going to get for him?
Well, hold it. I'm going to get to that in a sec, but I can't see a world where they trade him to the Brewers because they've had like disputes of like not extending guys like Corbin Burns or Woodruff, and it's just like a money thing with them. I know they'll
be free agents after next season.
No, I know that. I know.
So it's like I'm not swapping 1 year guys for.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying.
No, I know, but I'm just bringing that up. Milwaukee's another cheap team.
They're
a cheap team. Fucking owner.
It wouldn't really
make
sense.
They might relocate.
If that happens, we'll see. We have to see the ownership, but that's why it's very iffy.
Relocation just means they're going to get a new stadium and get more money. Doesn't mean they're going to put into it. Like, I don't trust fucking Oakland and their ownership going to Vegas and spending money.
That's a whole nother mess. But anyway, when I read the report originally that they didn't even ask because the Milwaukee is a kid named Jackson Chourio, who's one of the top prospects in baseball. And when I heard that he was off the table, I'm like, wait, what? Like, no.
You're starting with him.
Exactly.
Like, Milwaukee, you're putting him in, and you know what? I'll take Devin Williams for the bullpen. Like, I'll start with those two. And then you can give me, like, 2 more, like, mid-tier, below-average prospects.
Exactly. That's like the, like, Chourio would have been the starting point. The fact that and then they said they didn't throw the number 2. I'm like, wait, what? Like, I kept reading the article, and it was, like, asking for, like, the 3, 4, 5. Like, Alonso, guys, is, like, a potential 500 homer guy in his career. Like, not many of those guys come around.
Major leaguers are in the package.
Right.
Even if they're young guys that have not just, But we don't know why Mauricio's not called up because they want to keep his rookie status for next season. So he's going to come up in September.
It's weird because I thought they could already do it. It's after August 20th.
I heard it's like they have to call him up in September. It's after August. Because it's a certain amount of plate appearances they're trying to keep him from having so he doesn't lose his rookie status.
Yeah, that makes sense. But nevertheless, when I kept reading, I'm like, there's no way I'd even entertain this deal. Like, if not even a top 5 prospect in baseball, but not even the second best prospect, like, I would hang up the phone.
It'd be like if the Marlins said we want Pete Alonso, but Yuri Perez is off the table, and like our starting pitchers,
I'd be like, no, like you're starting there, like that's like, or if we didn't get like, I know they just called up a kid, the Brewers South for it. Like if I didn't get like no.
I'm only trading Pete if we land Ohtani because I'm looking at the future of how the contracts are going to be. Ohtani takes up the DH role. He's going to be here for 10 years.
I honestly don't think we're getting him. I don't know why, but I had a weird feeling he's going to be a Dodger. I don't know. I
think the second Tommy John surgery is going to scare off the Dodgers. I think they were looking for Ohtani to take over Urias' spot in the rotation. So if I think the injury, like they might have to go spend a lot of money, like to fill the pitching. Even though they have young starters, they're going to need a couple of veterans.
Right. And
it's like, I don't know, like that's still, especially Mookie's getting up there in age. Like, is he really going to play the field off like later on in his career? Whether he plays outfield or second base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been fluctuating there, even though he's been a right fielder pretty much his whole career. He's having another.
The one team that I'd be afraid of is San Francisco. I mean, look, they lost out on Judge. They lost out on Correa. They might just say, fuck it. And even with the injury and go crazy.
They've gotten the star before. I mean, remember they got Barry Bonds? I know that was a little different, but still they've gotten it before. And it's again, I don't think he breaks the bank anymore. I don't think we see a over $500 million contract because of the UCL.
I think we'll see a $500 million contract because a team is going to want him so bad. Whether that's with Steve Cohen to really get him to come here, or that San Francisco trying to make sure he doesn't go to the Dodgers. I could also see the Padres because I think they're.
I don't know about San.
Here's why. Here's why the Padres. The free agent market for hitters is very thin. They were very smart to not trade Juan Soto right now. If they could land Ohtani, they have 2 bats that they could trade. Tatis and Soto, they would get a boatload to make sure that Ohtani contract. And look at it. They went after Judge after they got Bogarts last year. So don't tell me they're not going to be aggressive.
No, they might. I mean, Preller's a crazy general man. I mean, that dude will go after anyone pretty much.
And hats off to that ownership because San Diego has never been a destination for players to go to unless they got traded.
Yeah.
So hats off to that owner that has decided to put money into that. Mm-hmm. And I also think a lot of players don't like how Tatis. I think there's more to Tatis inside that dugout than we know and what's being put out there.
I don't know if it's necessarily him or Machado. It's one of them.
Also, one of the points, I know we're talking about the UCL shit, but the butts and seats part is going to be very, very important.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, wherever Ohtani goes, the stadium's going to be filled.
It's filled this weekend for him.
Like anywhere. I mean, I'd clear out if the Mets signed Ohtani, of course I'm going to Citi Field.
I'm crying the day that if that day I'm going to be crying at my job because I'll be at work and I'll just see the notification. I'll just cry. I'll be crying. We landed him.
No, yeah, I would. I mean, again,
but he's the only reason why I would trade Pete is because Pete's long term here. He's not going to be able to play first base for the entire deal of the contract, and I don't want to do with him what we did with Cano, where year 8 of it and he's really declined hitting and fielding, and you just got to DFA him. I'd rather say, okay, we got Ohtani. You know what? We can still get a couple of major leaguers for Alonso to fill out this team to help this team.
You could sell me if that happened, yeah. But if it doesn't, I want to lock up Pete.
Oh yes, I would lock up Pete. If you lose Ohtani and you trade Pete, then you trade everybody. You trade Lindor, you trade Diaz, you trade McNeil, you trade Marte, and you start from scratch.
Fine. You know what? At least they have the direction. Although, to be fair, I still don't know if this GM is the right guy to be making those moves.
The direction we have is Steve Cohen is running it and made.
No, they need a president of baseball operations to go over.
David Stearns.
Let him come here. I've been calling for it for about.
I'd fire Epler. I'd fire Epler. I'd go after Kimney, who's going to be a free agent. Her contract with the Marlins is up at the end of the season. Like I bring her in as the. Hey, it might help bring Ohtani in if you hire her.
No, you're right. You're on fire today, Armand. I gotta ask just because I know we're talking about the Mets. I'm gonna switch over a little to football. Did you watch the Jets Giants preseason game yesterday?
Yes, I had it on.
Okay. Did any thoughts on any players that should be cut that you want to see make the roster? Anyone that surprised you?
This defense is ready to fucking play. This pass rush is ready to show up.
Oh my god!
And it's not just Jermaine Johnson looks totally different at the linebacking position that he did last year on the edge.
Yeah, no.
He should have been playing linebacker last year more. He should have had more than 27% of the snaps. McDonald. I know McDonald's going to have the same amount of snaps that Jermaine did last year because of rookie season, but he has to have more than that. If he has that and has a big impact, you got to get him to 35, 40% snaps this season if he's going to be that effective. I want to see him and Huff on long downs, passing downs like 2nd and 15. I don't care. Put them at the edge. Let's get it. Their speed is going to really neutralize and take away the quarterback for getting rid of the ball quick. Bryce Hall got to go. You didn't give him a chance at the safety position. He can't cover for nothing. I mean,
he can't tackle either. We saw him a
Jack bag is covering the food better than he can cover a friggin' receiver.
My God. We saw him miss a few tackles yesterday, and I was like bugging out. I'm like, what kind of angles are these? There's times where he's on the floor.
A pass interference yesterday.
Oh, my God. Did you see the one where he flat out just missed the defender? His knee was on the floor. I'm like, what are you doing?
I'm very happy that Mekhi Becton is starting. We needed him to start.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord.
Aiden says we need Juan Soto. I called for it at the deadline, but it's just whether he's going to change the prospect of this team or not, which is highly doubtful.
But do you also expect Hal to give him a long-term deal with all those contracts you have on the books?
No.
That's why if you trade for Soto, like you got to give him that deal. Like it's like similar to when we traded for Lindor. You trade for the guys going into the last year of their deals, they're going to get that extension in the offseason. You're not going to bring them in for 1 year and see how they perform in New York. That just doesn't happen in baseball.
Right.
You're right. The difference is, though, I'd say that Juan Soto is more worth it because of his age. Like, I think he still has the future ahead of him.
Oh, I agree. I just if you're going to give up the high-end draft capital and then trade him as a rental or lose him in free agency just for a draft pick.
I wouldn't. It wouldn't be a rental. It's a we're gonna get you.
That I don't trust Hal doing that. That's the one thing I feel bad. It's the one thing I feel bad for Yankee fans is I don't think Hal changes, and that's he's gonna say I gave the money to Judge. We have Stanton on the books. We got LeMahieu on the books. Like that's the part I feel bad for Yankee fans. I don't feel bad for the losing on the field. I've been through it with the goddamn Mets, with Cohen, before Cohen. Like that hasn't fucking changed.
No,
right,
it has not.
No, it hasn't. Yankees would turn Soto into 200 hitter. Yeah, I've heard that before. I wouldn't doubt it, honestly. Kim is Vietnamese, not Japanese. Cross your fingers for David Stearns. Rangers, they have no budget, no state income tax in Texas.
Yeah, but I could look at all the pitchers they signed.
Yeah. I mean,
last year from Jets to
DeGrom, all those different guys. Let's see what else. I wonder if Ohtani's injuries could really open the door of him going to the Mets. Other teams may be turned off. It's an interesting one. Don't sleep on Seattle. Yep. Let's see Ohtani going to the Padres. This is going back to the Alonso conversation, Chourio, and the top prospect at minimum. And then 50 played
and more.
How the Mets fans feeling about Senga recruiting his old teammates from Japan to come to the Mets?
You know what? I'm actually in favor of it because, it seems that more and more guys that are becoming better from like the international places. And you know what? I haven't seen many of these prospects develop. So, and I don't know how many are like going to be really ready by next year. I doubt many. Right. Like the only guy in the system that I could see making the team next year, Mauricio. But other than that, and I don't count Beatty as a prospect because, he spent time here.
He played so long between last year and this year.
Now he's like kind of fluctuating and he's hitting well again.
I wonder if they would consider him in a trade package to get a young pitcher here. Or even a veteran third baseman that's substantially worth it.
I mean,
I screamed to trade him to Boston for Devers after they let Bogarts go before they gave Devers that extension.
Yeah, no.
I said trade for Devers and put Beatty in the package.
I mean, for Devers, forget about it. Of course, I would do it, but I don't
take the York out of New York and put the New Japan Baseball Club. That's what the Mets need to become. Sure. I'm all for it. Give me the WBC Japanese team.
I'll root for them.
They won a championship. The Mets have not.
I'll root for them. They can be my team.
Why not? Football question: is Bryce Hall making the Jets roster? I would bet on
no. I don't
no.
think so.
I hope not. I hope
not.
Him and Ashton Davis can go too.
Ashton Davis needs to go.
He is horrible.
Ashton Davis, more like.
Speed.
God.
The need for speed. Yeah, speed his ass out of MetLife and just, go become a Twitch streamer.
You know what?
Become a YouTuber.
He should live in the world where Armin suggested everyone just drives like 130 miles per hour.
I mean, he is fast. They
He's
praised
fast.
him athletically coming out of college that he did backflips and all this shit, but
that would honestly, that would scare me a little bit if you guys.
I'm surprised they never tried him out as a returner.
He had a special teams role in college. I never understood why they didn't try him out as returner yet.
I think Alex Erickson could make the roster because he has return ability. They just lost Corey Davis to retirement. Like he could take the Corey Davis, Braxton Berrios, so just no more fair catching, please.
Right.
Take a chance once in a while.
I really want to see Hartman return and see what he can do.
Well, I think you use Hardman as a kick returner, and then just maybe you rotate the punt returns with Erickson and
Gibson.
Gibson.
That
I don't think Gibson. I think Gibson goes to the practice squad because he had a lot of drops yesterday.
I'm gonna disagree with that one, and we'll get into the 53-man roster tomorrow because I know me and Luca were like pretty much done with ours, but. I feel like his ability for yards after the catch was pretty good because he was a lot of short throws they gave him, but he still picked up extra yards. And then he's been decent in the return game enough where it's like, you know what? I could see him making the roster, especially after the Davis retirement, which nobody saw coming. I mean, that was like the curveball of curveballs. I knew he was like away from the team, but nobody announced why. But it's probably something major if that's the case.
Didn't he get a head injury last year, like a concussion, and it probably scared him?
I didn't know if it was that or if it was something personal, like that he was dealing with.
I didn't expect him to make the roster because of his non-guaranteed of $10.5 million, and Joe Douglas loves to have money in the cap and bring it into the season. I thought he was actually on the roster bubble.
Well, it is off the books.
Out. Now he's off.
Now it's off the books.
He's got a point.
Armin, I have to ask you this question. I know Alex wants to get the comments. Me and John were discussing this pre-show, and Joe Cat has been pretty adamant about this on Twitter on his opinion. From 1 to 10, what is your confidence in Zach Wilson be the backup quarterback behind Aaron Rodgers?
6.6. 6.6.
Interesting.
I'm doing that based on his ability more than Tim Boyle has no ability.
Right.
No, yeah, we're in agreement there.
He's a boil on the ass. I just want to pop it and get him off the team. But I also realize that he's going to stay here because of the third QB rule.
Yeah.
For the it's a non-active. It doesn't count against the active roster for game days. So if you lose Rodgers, please God don't, or Wilson in a game, you lose both of them, he could come in. Because of what happened in the NFC title game. I'm all for bringing in Carson Wentz. I don't want a statue of a quarterback that doesn't work in today's game. It's the only reason why I want Wentz is he's mobile enough to move in and out of the pocket. He has a good enough arm,
Yeah, I would consider him. I mean,
he's the only one I would consider. No statues. Matt Ryan, stay on CBS.
Right.
Flacco,
no Joe Flacco. No Joe Flacco. Please.
I don't want Flacco.
No Joe Flacco. We already experienced that last year. Okay, that was awful.
But another thing is with the whole Zach Wilson stuff, I mentioned this to John, if they fully think he should have some sort of reset year, he should be most definitely not quarterback 2, but quarterback 3. If he's really resetting and developing and, they hope he has a chance to be the quarterback after Aaron Rodgers, who knows what that is. But I also think, obviously Zach Wilson I thought he was solid throughout the preseason. He wasn't preseason. I thought he was, he wasn't anything special. He did what he had to do. He went through his progressions on his throws and what's that. But the question is, for my question to Zach Wilson is, when things get tough, when defenses get really complicated and all that, what's going to happen? Is he going to fold under the pressure? Because God forbid Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. Knock wood that he doesn't. What's Zach Wilson going to do? Is he going to go under pressure? Is he going to continue the little progression steps that he's made, or he won't? It's a question.
Well, Luca,
So
I have a thing.
That's 70% on Zach with his talent and his ability, and that's 30% on the offensive coordinator.
100%.
Like you said, they said this is a reset for him. The way they used him this year in preseason and in practice is to mold him like if you would have a rookie quarterback. Use him like a game manager. They were never going to let him have a lot of deep passes, a lot of, risk reward type of passes. They wanted him to have safe throws to really get to learn a new offense, especially while it's a similar concept, just different terminology and what how Hackett likes to use them. So it's Wilson or Boyle. Rodgers goes down. You might as well just hope and pray for a tank. But the way this defense is, we're going to be in the top. We'll be like in the 15 to 20 range with a draft pick, finishing like 8 and 9 or 9 and 8 and missing the wild card.
Again, knock wood. Knock wood. That Aaron Rodgers doesn't get.
I have a thing for Luca. I mean, I was actually about to bring that point up that Armin said. That basically, I heard this from a Jeff fan before. I don't know who it was. It's like, who cares who's QB2? Because if Aaron Rodgers goes down, season's over anyway. I don't know who said that, but somebody did. But my question to Luca is...
That was Paul. That was Paul.
You're right,
okay. Yeah, I was like, it could have been somebody that's been on here. But my thing is this. In that situation, and I know Luca and John are very, very mishmash, at least at this moment, on Robert Saleh as a coach. At what point, and I'm not trying to look because there's a lot of hype around the Jets. How much in that situation that Zach Wilson comes in, you guys finish with 7-8 wins? How much did that you consider a disappointment and that enough to fire Saleh? Or do you say one more year?
No, he's fired.
He probably is fired, but
he should be.
You also have to look at it. I think he could be fired most likely, like John said. I've been saying this. If Saleh's fired after a disappointing season, get ready for Nathaniel Hackett to be the head coach.
That would be
because here's why. It's gonna try to entice Rodgers to come back for one more season. I am prepared for Rodgers to pull his shit after this season, whether good or bad, to say he needs to take time and think about coming back next year. I know he's saying the right things now. I know he's saying he's here for the long term. He did the right thing and took a $35 million pay cut. But I am prepared for him to say, I need some time to think about it. I need to go into a darkness retreat. I need to go to Disneyland or Disney World or a strip club, whatever, a meth lab, whatever, go someplace. I'm ready for that, for him to take his time. And, I'm prepared for that. Not a lot of Jets fans are. You're going to see a lot of Jets fans. This motherfucker, he said he was going to be here for more than one season. And now, we don't know how many hits he's going to take this season in games. Or how many times he's going to be sacked.
I've planned for it for months now. What I said was they need to protect him. And you need to bank on the health of your tackles because Dwayne Brown, he ain't getting any younger. He's been a fine tackle, but he ain't getting any younger. And that blob at right tackle, Becton. Yes, he's had some nice preseason moments, but my God, if he can't stay healthy, they are screwed.
Joe would love you, John. Joe would love you.
No, Joe's they're great. I agree with them. But come on, he hasn't played in about 2 years.
I agree. The injuries have hurt him.
2 years.
Some of the stuff, I'm a left tackle. That's the one tweet I disagreed with. I know you want to be left tackle. Go and prove it. But you know what you proved, Makai? You're better at the right tackle spot. You are so much more better at being a right tackle. And he played right tackle at Louisville. He just wasn't a left tackle at Louisville. So you proved to be a right tackle. You're in your walk season. You're going to play good, and hopefully you become a Pro Bowler. And maybe you force Joe Douglas and this team to pay you.
We'll get there when we get there with Makai. Yes. I'm not ready to throw the pom-poms.
No, I'm not either. I'm not ready to give him his money, but we need some good from this roster outside of Garrett and Sauce.
Yeah.
Because then we're gonna be like, well, where's the offensive line? Where's the offensive line? And they could fill the offensive line next season, via the draft, via free agency, via trades, and then now you have a lack of weapons, right? Due to something.
Right.
I mean,
Because we're not going to have Dalvin Cook is gone after the season. We don't know how Brees is going to be going into next year.
He's really the X factor because you pray that he's like how he was last year because again, you know, you can argue it's him or Wilson or Vera Tucker, who's a guard, but I know that, you know, position wise it's, you know, different, but you could argue that, like, he was one of the most valuable Jets on offense last year.
Yes.
You know, I mean, he helped escape Zach Wilson's. Or not escape, but he shielded his
shit play.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what he did.
And Brees did too with that deep pass against Denver, that touchdown.
Yeah.
That's like probably the best Zach Wilson throw since he became the starter.
Right. And also, just like Luke was back after temporarily.
I'm looking for an apple chart.
A cat?
He's looking for something.
He's looking for a cat fight.
Like, obviously, all right. Keeping in tune with the Jets, though, like, it's not just Mekhi Becton. And, of course, I watched some Jet games last year, so I'm in tune with it. Dwayne Brown's an average tackle in this league. Of course, John mentioned his age. Laken Tomlinson did not have a good year last year.
No, he did not.
No, he did not.
McGovern's
average.
Yeah, McGovern's an average guy. I mean, AVT's also coming off a serious injury, so you have to look at that. And then, of course, the blob Becton right tackle. Like, I'm not as an outsider, I'm not expecting the Jets O-line to be top tier, but it has to be league average for Rodgers.
I agree.
Just be league average, in my opinion, or at least above average.
Around league average.
My question is whether if this year, like, the Jets are maybe a few steps away from whatever the season outcome is, if Aaron Rodgers deems this offensive line not good enough, is he going to go to Joe Douglas and say, "Go get Bakhtiari"?
I don't mind him putting his input, but go get somebody. You know, especially if they fail, like, yeah, like I wouldn't mind him saying, you know, go get him or go get whoever's. I don't know the free agent market for next year. I'd have to take a look. You know,
I'll get it up right now.
Because we haven't even started this year, but and Mike, you bring up a good point. I've literally said it on the show. I forgot when I said it, but it was a few Monday shows ago. I said, you know what? AVT might be better at tackle.
I agree. I thought they should have moved AVT to tackle, and either Tippmann or McGovern goes to right guard.
Honestly, I would start McGovern at guard just because I feel like Tippmann is, you know, he's a natural center, but you don't want to confuse the kid.
Yeah,
right. You don't want to cross train him early.
Yeah, you don't want to, like, you know, start doing that. I mean, if he can play guard in the future, fine. I have no problem with that. But, you know, he's a natural center. Let's see what he can do at center. Although he's not going to start because he got beat out by McGovern. But we'll see how the season goes.
Brian says excited to see what Beckham does in a full season. I mean, it's also, I mean, this has been merely mentioned.
He has to play a whole game. That's what I'm excited. Let's see him play a whole game.
Yes.
I mean, the Panther game was the first quarter that doomed us. You know, like his rookie season, he played 14 games. That's it. Since then, nothing but injury prone.
Yeah, I wouldn't even count those 14 games because they were, like, you know, brainwashed with Adam Gase nonsense. So it's hard to count that.
Hold on, I'm getting up the offensive line for free agency.
When will age finally catch up to Rodgers? I mean, we'll see. Zach Wilson should bang Christopher Johnson's wife. I mean,
that might be on his list.
That could be on his list.
He might fuck Rex's wife and suck her toes and, like, you know, Rex being a cook.
I forgot about that. Why?
And then Rex could get, instead of the Mark Sanchez tattoo, he'll get the Zach Wilson tattoo.
I mean, the cuts are going to finish over Monday and Tuesday, but I don't think he's going to make the 53. I think he's a practice squad guy. And that was, like, Joe's biggest thing on Twitter is, like, this nobody and Tommy DeVito played better than Zach Wilson, and he was getting such shit for it.
So I have the list on Spot Rack for 2024.
Okay.
Jonah Williams.
Okay.
Terrence Steele. Josh Nijman. Oli Udo. Cameron Fleming. Isaiah Wynn. Ezra Cleveland. Cedric Abugier. Cameron Irving. Chris Hubbard. Matt Nelson. Garen Christian. Chuma Adoga. Josh Jones. Like, oh Jesus, this does not look good.
As you go down, it's worse.
Yeah.
I mean, Terrence Steele
that's
is the right
tackles.
Yeah. Terrence Steele is a right tackle. He's very good.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, by the way, Mike.
Trey Turner, guard. I'm like down at the guard and nothing's.
Yeah.
I mean, also as well, like if you're with AVT, right? He was a first round pick, so you might as well pay him the big money. Tackle's worth more money than guard, so I mean, it could be an eventuality to have him switch over. But
yeah, there's like you're probably gonna have to trade for somebody, because I mean, unless Lyle Collins might get cut by the Bengals, I'd bring him in now.
Yeah,
I like him.
Yeah,
he's also older though. That's the whole thing.
I understand.
But for this season, you're bringing him in as a backup to get to back up Brown and Becton.
Yeah,
interesting scenario because like I think Collins at this point in his career, he's either like Dwayne Brown or he's a little bit better. And I just don't know if Collins would take that and say, no, I'm not going to be backup. Like that. Like I remember.
The one guy I was fighting for this offseason who got cut was Jamarco Jones from the Titans. He got cut because he was getting into the fight with Jeffrey Simmons. He's 27. So bringing him in as a swing tackle to back him to fight for a starter's role in case Brown was injured or back. Like he's still out there. Like I would bring him in because of age. Like we have like outside of Tippmann, AVT, and even Becton, it's mostly
everyone's old.
Yeah, it's a senior citizen club.
Well, Max Mitchell's young too.
No Billy Turner, please. No Billy Turner.
It's a turnstile like going through the subway in New York.
Exactly.
To watch him camp.
Also, like Mike mentioned it for the Giants because we need swing tackle badly. But I think a name for the Jets, if you want to look for backups, Dennis Kelly, former Eagle, former Titan, former Packer, who's at least a solid tackle in this league.
How old is he?
33.
Let me ask this: does anyone think? Let's just say George Fant gets cut. Does anyone think he could re-sign with the Jets?
No, that relationship damaged.
Never say never. If it's the only offer he gets, he might take it.
I mean, well,
it might be the best situation for him to get to start. It might be the best situation for him to start. Like unless like a Kansas City Chiefs team was bringing him to backup and he said, "Fuck it, I'll go ride the bench and win a Super Bowl."
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I mean that's possible, but if he really came back to us, that would look real desperate on him. Just
look at what the Houston Texans did this year. Look at how many offensive linemen they brought in, even though they have two very good starting offensive tackles.
They want
depth. I think George Fant might be slated to be one of the starters. Titus Howard's out a couple of weeks with that injury, so I think George Fant either is the swing or the starter. Actually, I mean, you look at the roster.
Right, yeah. He's going to be.
But so much. Can we talk about and how I've been saying this to a lot of people? Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch need to be held accountable for how they have fucking locked up this fucking roster of the 49ers and not been able to develop and draft a fucking quarterback.
Right. That definitely should have its criticism. Definitely.
Well, if Purdy becomes something, I'm willing to wait and see what he becomes.
Yeah, and the criticism.
He has to become better than Jimmy Garoppolo. If he becomes another Garoppolo, you still got to hold them accountable. Because all they can develop is game managers.
Yeah,
you're right. You're absolutely right on that.
And it's like a different thing because I mean you guys can relate to it because he's currently on your roster, but Solomon Thomas was a draft bust by the 49ers. It doesn't matter now.
Think about this. They had the number 2 overall pick, flipped down one spot. The Bears took Trubisky, and the Bears get more shit than any team that they passed on Watson and Mahomes. Go look at the teams that passed on both of them. San Francisco at number 3 with Solomon Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
At least, we could criticize the Jets fans like, oh, we passed up on Mahomes and Watson. We took Jamal Adams. But you know what? As much as I would love Mahomes or Watson outside of the outside stuff as the quarterback on the Jets, we got AVT and Garrett Wilson from the Jamal Adams deal.
Yep.
They got some
110%.
like, there's a silver lining towards that. You don't have those two players if you landed Mahomes or Watson.
Right. So Brad, the 49er fan, says, hold your horses. No Jet fan has the right to question the 49ers.
Okay, Brad. Okay.
What do you mean?
They haven't won jack shit, just like the Jets.
That's true.
Mike says, I don't think Purdy has that high of a ceiling, though. No, I don't think he does either. He did well down the stretch last year, but he's thrown to Deebo Samuel, and it's just boom, boom, boom.
What do you think is Brock Purdy's ceiling? Do you think he could be Matt Ryan?
I mean, he only played 9 games last. I'm trying to think, including postseason. How many games did he play last year? Including
that's probably the best. That's probably the best quarterback Shanahan's coached, talent wise and production wise.
So he had.
They had Julio and stuff.
He had 13 touchdowns in 9 games with 5 starts. And then playoffs. I'm going to get to that if they would let me here on this friggin' site. Hold on 1 second. Game logs, postseason. Here we are. Against Seattle, threw for 3 touchdowns. Didn't throw for a touchdown against Dallas, and did not throw for a touchdown against Philly, of course.
And people should go back and look at the John Lynch, when Lynch got there with Shanahan. Look at all the draft classes. How many players from those draft classes are still on that team outside of Bosa, Debo? I think Bosa was there before John Lynch.
He might have been.
Maybe
Bosa was
Debo.
2019. So Bosa was there. I do it's weird with the 49ers because you could see some the early shit with their draft picks. I'm looking at it right now. You look at the 2017 class, there's some of their middle round picks is actually good. And actually, to fun fact for you guys, that XFL/USFL Defensive Player of the Year, that PETA guy, he was drafted by the 49ers in the mid rounds. But you also have Kittle. So you have to credit them there. They also got DJ Jones, who's a solid run defender. Mm-hmm. But if you look at their first two draft picks from 2017, Solomon Thomas and Reuben Foster, one's with you guys, one's no longer in the league.
And if you go look at that draft class, 2017 as a whole, go look at where San Francisco selected them and look at who went after them.
Yeah,
they even took after they traded the one that went to the Colts. They drafted Javon Kinlaw. They traded a D tackle away and drafted a D tackle.
Mm-hmm. Right. And there's I think, if I'm not mistaken, Kinlaw got his option declined. I think. Don't count me on that.
He's he's a.
Right. The thing is, they have Purdy, so they're fine. If Purdy was never a thing, they would get more crap for Lance. Purdy has a high ceiling. I don't think that much of a high ceiling, but it's like a manager type ceiling. This is disgruntled. He's a Raiders fan. My hot take on the San Francisco situation: San Francisco didn't trade up for Trey originally, but the owner heard fans clamoring for Lance, so he told Kyle and John Lynch to pick Trey.
Well, I think the guy they should have targeted there, or tried to even jump over, was for Fields.
Right.
That's what I thought they should have done, because I still thought he was more athletic than Trey Lance. And I think everyone was scared because they saw how Haskins was at Ohio State, and I think that turned everyone away at first. But Fields has been and I'm not saying Chicago's done everything correct, but he looked the part so far.
This is the year we find out with Justin Fields. He has a number 1 wide receiver. He has obviously a solid offensive line. They
got help.
They have to be league average. He has weapons this year.
Mm-hmm. Right. John, are you seeing a black screen for Luka?
Yeah, he might have crapped out.
Yeah, he probably
got sucked into the Twilight Zone.
I think the cat fight is it probably bit one of the wires in the middle of the fight. So that's probably why.
You think Mac Jones was the original target? That's interesting.
They were clamoring for it. But
but if they traded up for him, that's I'd say that's worse than Lance, because at least Lance was a high ceiling type of quarterback,
mm-hmm.
similar to Zach and Fields, the high ceiling guys. So So just like you
What
see
happened
us,
to
the
Luka?
three of us in the NFL, there's three models of quarterbacks that every team is looking for, except for these three teams. You're looking for the Patrick Mahomes type of quarterback. You're looking for the Josh Allen, and you're looking for the Joe Burrow. Those are the three types of quarterbacks you are looking for. Mahomes, the higher ceiling guy that broke the mold. Josh Allen, the big, mobile, rocket arm type of quarterback, and the precision type of passing of Joe Burrow. Like those are the three quarterbacks you're looking for. So, like, if they were looking at Mac, they could have said, you know what, we could stay where we're at and taking Mac Jones.
Right.
That makes sense, but it's also, and I read Giants Chronicles comment here. Says, really, come on, y'all. He brought them to an NFC Championship. Might have won the whole thing if he stays healthy. His ceiling is pretty high. Now, I'm not saying the talent isn't, the ceiling isn't there for Purdy, and that's why I kind of give him a little bit of a pass, because you know what, you find a guy that late in the round who did something okay, but I'm not also ready to say Purdy brought them there. Like that, the roster they still have is very good.
It's very maintainable in the system too.
Uh-huh.
Like I will say, like in reference to that comment, what I will try to take out of it and extract is the ceiling is high for the team. The quarterback is different. Like, yeah, you could legitimately say the same thing with Jimmy G.
Purdy saved their season last year. I'll say that. Like, he helped save the season, because if they went into the crapper, I wonder how much shit Shanahan would have been getting this offseason, and Lynch.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Just think about what the Miami Dolphins did with those 3 first-round picks. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Bradley Chubb.
Yeah, no, they either draft well or they trade for an asset.
Exactly.
Has been smart of them, as Luka has reappeared after his breakup from the cat fight.
I'm not questioning Shanahan's like offensive mind, like designing plays and making a very good playbook, but he has not shown that he could draft and develop a quarterback. Let's see what happens with Purdy. But if Purdy becomes just a healthy Garoppolo and they don't win anything, how long is he going to be there? And how long is Lynch going to be there? Are they going to get 3 more years? Are they going to get 2 more years? Like, are they going to be there 5 years from now with no Super Bowl? And even if Purdy's just a healthy Garoppolo, and mind you, Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator with 28-3 lead.
Yep.
I mean, and also in unhidden detail, if obviously you guys can hear me, Trey Lance played 1 game in that 2020 season. 1 game before. Yeah, and it was a huge risk, going up to get him, obviously. So, again, you could play that. You could say, you could have taken Fields. But, again, it was just a risk getting him anyway, because he only played 1 game. Like, he didn't even play, like, that many games that season before. Like, his 2018, he had to play, like, 2 games. 2019, I think, was a full season. 2020, he just played 1 game. So, it's like he took a big risk, after the fact. It wasn't so much for injury purposes, but he's just not panned out.
And we all...
You were saying, Armand?
And we know when you're drafting for a quarterback, if you're trading up for the rookie quarterback, it's costing you more than any other position. I mean, look at the 2018 draft. It costed the Jets their 6th pick and all 3 second-round picks that year to go up to number 3. And they didn't know who they were getting, and poof, it was Sam Darnold and seeing Ghost.
Ghost boy.
Matt Ryan is washed. I hope Brock can't beat him. Otherwise, he needs to retire. Brian says, by the way, I finished the schedule predictions for the season.
I'm very curious to see what this man has, because he's always got surprises up his sleeve.
Please tell me I'm not listening to Jets fan hate on the 49ers, one of the most stacked teams in the NFL.
What?
A stacked team that hasn't won anything. A stacked team that hasn't won a Super Bowl.
It's not hate. We're just, we're not hating on the
Speaking of facts, we're not.
I'm just saying Shanahan and Lynch need to start being, looked at more from outside perspective fan bases, especially, if they were doing that here in New York, they'd be getting crucified.
Well, I will say this. We do have to welcome on a surprise member of the panel.
Uh-oh. Oh, my God.
Jesus.
He decided to make his presence known.
I had to.
Oh.
I just had to. I had to, man. I mean, I got out of work like maybe a few hours ago, and I just hopped on. I saw you guys talking Jets, and I was like, all right, we should talk about this.
Hold up.
Well, I
First
mean-
off, how are you, Brian? It's been a while.
I'm doing all right. I got to say. A little exhausted, but as you guys know, a few weeks ago, the podcast, haven't had an episode out in a while, hoping to get back into it soon. Been dealing with some personal stuff, but hopefully tomorrow we'll get an episode out. But I did the schedule predictions in the last few days, tweaked some stuff around. I'm not kidding. It might be the craziest thing I've ever done.
Oh no,
Oh boy.
I can't wait.
I'm quite scared. I am literally quite scared. But also to add into this conversation, Brian, what do you think of the stuff we're talking about with the 49ers? Like, are you more on the Giants Chronicle side, or are you on our side, or at least, what John and Armin are talking about in terms of like they're not getting it done with Brock Purdy or any of that?
Well, I'm not serious. Hold up. I'm not saying they can't get it done. I'm just saying I'm waiting to see for it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying with John.
Yeah, we're not trashing on the Niners. We're just simply saying we're waiting to see what Purdy can do. I want to see more.
Well, I'll tell you what I think. I do think that I'm not 100% still in on Purdy.
Mhm.
I'm not. As much as I do like him and the talent he is, there's still a lot to be shown. Again, he got thrown in. He didn't start an entire full season. He got thrown into the role. He did very well in the role, filling in for a starter. What does he look like now as a full starter? In a division that, the Cardinals got weaker. You could argue the Rams got a little bit better, and the Seahawks just completely retooled. So I think from a divisional standpoint, the 49ers are still in a good place just because I think Geno Smith is going to fall down a little bit this year. He's not going to be able to replicate what he did last season.
I agree
think
with that.
Struggle. And that's going to play a big factor for the 49ers. In terms of Trey Lance, Dak Prescott will be out of a job in 2 years.
Well,
Not
here's my
because of Trey Lance. I'm just saying I think he'll be out of a job.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying that.
well, his contract's up in 2 years, but I think how the money is, they could get out of it after this season. But here's the thing I'll say, like, if the Cowboys were to go in a different direction, let's say Dak leaves, you got to keep McCarthy there, because if you fire McCarthy and get rid of Dak, you're having Lance there for this season to learn the McCarthy playbook. In essence, now he has to learn a whole new system next year with a whole new coach in Dallas.
Very
so, like,
true.
you're hurting. Like, it was like how the Jets fucked up Darnold, like here with what's his face in Tampa, his rookie season, and then you bring in Gase and like
Bowles and Bates we had, and then we had the Mr. Offensive guru genius Adam Gase, and his brilliant play calling, and then we had
and I don't trust I don't trust Jerry Jones taking a chance on an offensive minded young head coach. To down there, like he will get another retread.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's fine, but for the Cowboys, if I'm being completely transparent, I have to say, and I've said it many times, is Dak Prescott like not one of the most overrated players
He
in
is.
football?
No, he is.
I don't get it. I think he's another stat patter. That's all it is.
I agree. Yes. I used the same term about a month ago.
He was tied for the league in interceptions last year with Davis Mills. Davis Mills was on a team that was tanking. They tied for 15 interceptions last year.
I feel bad
He
for
didn't even
Davis,
play all
by the way.
games.
I really do. I think he could totally start on one team in this league. The fact he got disrespected as bad as he has is terrible. I do feel bad for him. But going back to what we were saying with the Cowboys, you're right about McCarthy. I also don't think the Cowboys are going to win anything with McCarthy. In fact, my schedule prediction doesn't even have them with the winning record this year.
Wow.
I don't even think they finished with the winning record. I think they're like 8-9. I really don't believe in the Cowboys. I think
they have to re-sign Parsons, and probably would have to give Dak an extension after this season.
You're forgetting about CeeDee Lamb as well.
Man.
Oh,
CeeDee Lamb's got to get paid too, and they just lost Dalton Schultz in free agency, and they didn't get a good replacement for him. Who is it? Jake Ferguson? That's not going to solve.
they went young with the tight ends.
It's not good. I don't like it.
Their offensive line is not the same as it was 4 years ago.
And you got a question mark in the backfield because you have Tony Pollard starting for the first time. And then you have to trust the 5'5", 14-year-old Deuce Vaughn to run.
That's why I thought they would be a team that would go after Jonathan Taylor, even if it was just for one season. Like I could see Jerry doing that.
Yeah, but Brian, you're right. I could see them realistically, finishing around somewhere between 7 to 10 wins for the Cowboys, like in that range. Like I could see them.
I mean, at
average.
most I see 10, but I'm seeing more like.
I'm saying the most 10, the least probably around 7 games they win.
I mean, the only thing that's very weird is the hardest team I had to say predicting was definitely the Jets were one of them. Because I feel like there were games where I wanted to give it to them, but I felt like that Robert Saleh was going to do something was going to go wrong.
Time
management.
Because, every team has a dumb loss that they shouldn't have had happen.
Yeah, every team has a loss that they shouldn't have.
The Washington Commanders. That's who grabbing our dumb dick lost
If
to.
they lose to them, I swear I will unleash on, and I know it'll be Salah's fault too, because he's a doormat.
Every team, I'll just say this: every team has a game that they win that they had no business winning, and every team loses a game that they had no business losing. So again, I think that will happen the same with the Jets.
You know what our game will be that we shouldn't win, but we will win? And it's going to be similar to the Sunday night game last year and had the same team in it. The Eagle game. When the Eagles played the Packers after Rodgers went out.
You guys beating them.
And
for the first time in franchise.
And Love came in and played well, and they almost came back and won. Like, that's going to be the game. Like, Rodgers, drives down the field, and we win either by 3 or win with, a touchdown.
I think the weirdest one I have for a win, which I might switch up, but I have no idea yet, is the Jets beating Kansas City but losing to Philly.
I'll take that. I'd rather have a conference win.
Something weird happens. It's in New York. The Chiefs don't have that advantage of being at home. That's where it helps.
Yeah.
That's why I think I'm leaning Jets. Because if Rodgers gets in a nice groove early, things can easily go in their favor.
And I got to agree with Thorne because I'd rather have the conference win. And it's like sometimes the Chiefs don't start out always the best.
Mm-hmm. And I do
That's
have
not a knock against them, but it's the truth.
And I do have one team that I think is a sleeper, where their ceiling is a good playoff team, but their floor is definitely missing the playoffs. That's the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right.
Yeah,
yes.
I think I see Kenny Pickett making a lot of great progress. And in my prediction, I have them at 10-7, missing the playoffs.
I
think they're a very, very good team
on that team that I like. George Pickens, I expect to have a very good season. Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth is a good tight end.
I think Freiermuth is going to be his best connection this year.
He might be.
Got him on fantasy team. But I think the biggest X factor or the biggest, kind of variable you call it, is that offensive coordinator, Matt Canada. Because he's not the best, as my buddy Sean would say. He runs the same 4 plays every time. He runs short concepts. When are they going to let Kenny Pickett unleash it? I think Kenny Pickett is talent, no doubt, but it's going to be up to the offensive play calling and then putting Pickett into a position to succeed. Because as we all just said, offensive weapons through and through. Offensive line is better. They acquired Isaac Seumalo in the offseason.
And they took the tackle I wanted.
They took Broderick Jones.
He might not.
John,
I blame Joe Douglas for that. And here's why I blame Joe Douglas.
Because everybody knew.
For not calling up the Detroit Lions and trying to trade up to 12 after you made the Rodgers deal. You could have said to them, who are you taking? We're looking for offensive linemen. We're trying to get up for an offensive lineman. I know there was the report after the draft that
everybody believed it wasn't one Jets drive. It was like they made a little pre-series. Everybody believed that Will McDonald was the initial pick. I'm like, nah. I don't think that.
And then you heard that they liked Michael Mayer, and I'm like, get the.
Yeah, okay. We got 3-4 tight ends in the room, but yeah, let's take another tight end. That's a really good sell there.
Well, I think if they took Mayer or a tight end early, they don't take Kuntz.
No. I mean, still, you have Uzama, Conklin, and Rucker in your tight end. You don't need to draft. I would have flipped. If they took a tight end.
They would have been better off taking a receiver there.
JSN.
If you were going to go offensive weapon,
Yeah,
You're
no.
better off going wide receiver instead of tight end. Yeah. But they should have called up the Lions because the Lions had 12 and 18 to try to trade up to 12 or convince the Lions to trade from 18 to 15 and we trade back and gain a pick or two later on in the draft. That's what they should have done.
Yeah. Yeah.
McDonald's.
Yeah, that's I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I agree with that. With the Jets, I was also saying there is one game that's going to piss off a good amount of this panel and maybe make one happy.
Oh, I know what he's going to say.
Game. It's the Giant game.
I know what I knew it. He's giving the
That's
Giants.
one of the losses I have for the Jets is the Giants.
Okay.
That's
if
the
you
one
get, if you
game
give us
that will
if
cost
we
you
get
the
more
division.
wins against the AFC and I have to lose to the NFC East, I'm all for it. I'd rather have the AFC wins.
But if you want the actual record, do you guys want me to tell you the record that I have for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
12-5.
Okay, I'll live with
I'll
that.
take that season.
12-5, but you're not getting the division. It's still Buffalo's. They get you by a game. So you're number 5. You're number 5 seed.
I have my record for the Jets this year is 11-6.
That's fair.
That's very fair.
I mean, I still have you guys dropping the opener to Buffalo in New York, but you'll get your get back on them.
Oh, we better not.
To me, I think, in my opinion, I think they take one of the first 2 games. If it's not Buffalo, it's Dallas. If it's not Dallas, it's Buffalo. I don't think they'll win both games, but I think they win one of them.
I'd rather take Buffalo and New England and lose to Dallas.
That's fair.
I mean, they're not going to lose to Cowgirls, but
even though Rodgers has been the Cowboys' daddy for the past couple of years.
Yeah, the losses I have are opener against Buffalo,
Okay.
losing to Philly, losing to the Giants after the bye week, and then the Chargers right after that. So a 3-game losing streak. So a lot of questions about the
Losing
Jets
to the
get back on
Chargers?
track. Rodgers has his relax moment, and you guys come back. You lose probably one more game down the stretch to Miami, and you basically go 8-1 the rest of the way after that Charger loss.
Losing. Hold on, Brian. Like, I could accept losing to my team because I think it's going to be a competitive battle. But did you just say the Jets are going to lose to the Chargers?
Yes.
Well, is
Now
that the
understand,
game
I said there are going to be dumb losses that don't make sense. The Chargers are one of those games.
Do you think that's the game that Salah fucks up for us?
Yes.
Because I don't trust Staley. That's like 2 dumb dick coaches right there, Salah and Staley. And Staley deserves to be fired.
Dimwit versus Dimwit.
And Staley deserved to be fired after the 27
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Wait, that was the dumbest thing they did. My thing is,
you know.
I don't have full belief in the Chargers to make them a playoff team specifically because I think I have them missing at 10-7. But they're still a tough team overall offensively. That's what scares me. Their offense is really good, and their secondary is locked down.
Their overall talent is really good. It's just their coaching is horrible.
They need a lot of help there.
Since Anthony Lynn, it's been terrible. But I do want to get to a couple comments real quick.
Anthony Lynn. Is he one of their coordinators?
Brian,
No,
he was the last head coach.
Oh, I
before
think you're talking about
Staley.
like he's a coordinator now. I knew he was
a coordinator
before.
with
I
the
was like, is he
Lions
still
after
with
he
the
got
staff?
fired from the Chargers.
Yeah,
That's
then
what
he
I
got fired
thought.
with
I
the
was like,
Lions.
why did where did Anthony Lynn come from? Because I'm thinking that's Staley's. What is this?
If Staley gets fired, is Mond the next head coach there?
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore, not Mond. I'm thinking of the quarterback that got cut from Cleveland.
You're thinking of. I know you're thinking about. You're thinking of. Oh my gosh. You're thinking of Kellen Moore.
Yes, that's
Kellen
we said
Moore.
that.
Oh, he did. I heard Kellen Mond. It sounded like Kellen Moore.
Well, we corrected him. We said
Yes.
Moore.
You know what? I
Okay.
have to play this. I have to play this.
Hey
do
everybody, Brian's the new Meg. Brian's the new Meg. Brian's the new Meg.
I had to.
I like that. We should. I like that. We use that.
Is
now.
Moore the head coach there?
If Staley gets fired, that's a question, Brian. If you want to pay
Oh,
attention.
I mean, Staley will probably be fired if they don't make the playoffs. 100% believe that because Herbert's in his prime right now. You don't want to waste that. And you have the best talent around him that you need. You got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and the young Quentin Johnston, who's a vertical threat in every definition by the book from DCU. If he has a really good year and the way they're hyping him up, that's something I would watch, like big time, because that's what we would be down to. But obviously, I don't trust the coaching, and coaching can only take you so far. or I should say the team can only take you so far without the right coach. That's how I should put it. That's why I think the talent, for example, my team, Tampa Bay, which I do have a record prediction for, they have a lot of great talent for an NFC team to be competitive. But the coaching has always been a question, as all the former Jets fans know. We have a very questionable head coach who says, I'm going to call the defensive plays, to which I said, are you dumb that you're going to call defensive plays? Let your coordinator do that job. You're not the coordinator anymore. Let it go. Then I think it's going to hold us back too. We're not going to be even close to competitive in this division.
I think Todd Bowles is so passive that he'd let a butterfly beat him up. That's how passive.
Listen, if we were running against a squad of peewee guys and we were down to it's a 4th and 1 at the goal line, right? And it's exactly. It's a peewee football team, 11-year-olds. He would say, you know what, we're just going to punt it.
I have a question for Brian for your Bucks.
That's Todd Bowles football. If the Bucks are out of it, the trade deadline's here. Do you trade Mike Evans, who's in the last year of his contract, just to get picks? Hell no. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because he said it publicly. He wants to retire a Buccaneer nowhere else. He doesn't want to be anywhere else but Tampa Bay. He's got a huge streak he's trying to maintain. And you have to give him credit. I mean, he's probably one of the last loyal players you're going to see in the NFL. One of the last loyal ones. The last one we saw that I remember is Eli Manning being loyal.
Yes.
I give him credit for saying it, but I think that's total bullshit.
You think it's total bullshit?
I think he's just trying to say it to keep the fans on his side. If he says anything else, he gets criticized. Any player that says that. They always want to say, I want to be a Jet for life, a Giant for life, a Buck for life, an Eagle for life. They just want to get
It depends. I think if the team is bad enough,
LaDainian Tomlinson was not a Charger for life. He left the Chargers because the Chargers, they didn't want to bring him back, and he became a Jet for 2 years. If he can go anywhere, unless you're the quarterback, you ain't and Brady's the exception and Peyton's the exception, because Brady left the Colts because he got a neck injury and was done for the season. And they tanked so bad they got the number 1 pick for Andrew Luck. If that didn't happen, Peyton Manning does not become a Denver Bronco.
Correct.
And Brady left because he just got sick and tired of Belichick, and they had a really bad falling out.
Which he's going to – I'm also making this promise now, by the way, Belichick. He's going to be out of a job after this season. He's out of a job. And it will be not because they're going to want to fire him. He doesn't want to get fired. He'll end up retiring.
Somebody who'll be the head coach? Bill O'Brien. Bitch ass O'Brien.
Joe Judge.
Damn it! I want to be Joe Judge.
The fact that Arvin was so happy to say Bill O'Brien.
Wait, no, it's Matt Patricia, guys. My bad.
No. Matt Patricia's on the Eagles now.
Who cares? He'll still go back to the Patriots.
No.
Somebody
go back to the roots.
I was gonna say somebody.
It could be a son that has that freaking gift with his tongue. That becomes the head coach. That's the head coach. Oh, they got another Belichick. And in 3 years, he'll give him no rings.
Talking about
Steve Belichick, yeah. The defensive play caller. Actually, no, that's Gerard Mayo.
Oh, my gosh.
That would be a good consideration for Pat's coach, Gerard Mayo.
I was going to say, somebody pitched on Twitter, if the Jets get a first-round exit and Saleh's fired and Belichick's fired after the season, they would hire Belichick.
Oh, Woody would do that 100%. Woody would do it 100% just to get the newspapers trending on social media.
He'd be
100%. He would do it. Even if he also had to fire Douglas too, so we could get Belichick. Yeah. Even though Belichick's the worst GM of all time.
It's bad.
He can't draft properly. He doesn't sign good. The only thing he does good as a GM is, well, and I think it's mostly because he's a head coach, he knows when to let players go. That's it. That's it. But he doesn't. He spent money on Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry.
And barely used Jonnu.
And barely used them.
Didn't he draft early in N'Keal Harry?
Yes.
And Harry's been bouncing around.
Yeah, he's bouncing
and N'Keal just got cut from a team.
Yeah, there you go.
I forgot the team who cut him. Who was it again?
Well, the Vikings recently had him.
Okay, so then they're the ones that caught him. All right.
They drafted Cole Strange, a projected third round pick in last year's draft. They drafted him in the first round. They also had traded
Isaiah Wynn.
I was going to say Chase Winovich, yeah. Another one.
Chase Winovich is another one.
They just traded a running back for an offensive tackle. Pierre Strong, they just traded
Yes, they did.
They also drafted Sony Michel.
Oh, yeah. I know that Bulldog.
Well, if this is true, if Judge does become the next head coach for the Pats, you know what they can get ready for? The goal line offense from their own 5. Alex knows very well about that. Yes, for bringing it back.
Knowing Joe Judge being the head coach, I could totally see Mac Jones not being a Patriot next year, and the immediate response is, Carson Wentz, you're a New England Patriot.
Oh,
I could totally see it.
The backup would be Mike Glennon. Mike Glennon would be.
I can see Joe Judge doing 5-yard line, 1:50 left. They're at the 5-yard line, their own 5-yard line.
Yeah.
And they have the timeouts. He takes a knee.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just to go to halftime.
Yeah.
Just to go to halftime.
Why don't they let Brian Hoyer give him another shot?
Oh, yeah.
My God, Brian Hoyer.
Yeah.
Listen, his first that year with Cleveland before that
Jimmy
injury
Garoppolo will be the Patriot.
Wasn't terrible.
It's another one. I'm gonna get to a couple of comments. If it was up to me, I would trade Matt Canada to Russia for Brittany Griner. Well, she's already been dealt, so
can we send her back?
Rodgers is not going to allow a loss to Dallas. And then there's the Raiders, who blew so many second half 17-point leads.
Josh McDaniels.
Oh, yeah, they're going to be a big loser this year. I already have that panned out.
And they got to win. You know what? The Patriots gave them a win. Remember Jacoby Myers? He threw it.
And he's on the team now. He's on the Raiders.
You can have it.
I'm telling you, the Raiders, this is my record prediction. You guys are going to laugh so hard, but it's the truth. 3-14.
You know who deserves a lot of fault for that play? Ramondre Stevenson. Because he started throwing that back.
That's true. He did.
Jacoby gets it because he's the last one to make the throw and it costed them the game. But if Ramondre doesn't do that,
sure.
It's the fourth quarter. It was a tie game.
Yeah, it was a tie game.
Yeah,
they were gonna go until. Well, no, was it over?
Yeah, you could have won in overtime if you didn't throw it back.
And what's Mac Jones supposed to do there with Chandler Jones all on top of him? It's like a tank on top of a squirrel.
That's a good way to put it.
I think the Ravens will be strong this year.
Agreed. They're going to win the division.
It's going to be Cincinnati, Brian.
No, it's not. I don't think their defense is what it was. They're going to fall off 12-5.
They did lose Jesse Bates.
They lost Jesse Bates.
They did lose Eli Apple. They did lose Eli Apple.
Yeah, he's a Miami Dolphin. That's why the Dolphins ain't making the playoffs.
Thank you. Dolphins fans, right? Fucking, they talk so much shit on Twitter. Like, they will grab any Jets lowlight and start hating the fuck out of the Jets.
This is all I gotta say. Just tell them, how did it feel wasting all the amazing years that Dan Marino gave you? How did it feel? How did it feel wasting them all?
You know
what is it? They
can't give them back.
In all seriousness, they might feel a little closer to us because when Tua goes down, Mike White will start. The legend of Mike White. How many former
Jets? Let's call time out. Two things. How many former Jets are on that team? You said Mike White, Braxton Berrios, Chosen Anderson.
Yeah, that's right.
Chosen.
Sorry.
Dan Feeney.
Beanie.
The mullet head.
Outside of those former Jets on that team, that's another loaded roster with the quarterback question because of health. They are the 49ers of the AFC. Loaded roster, just question at quarterback.
They also have depth problems. Remember, Jalen Ramsey is going to be out for the first couple of months.
Luca, also to add
I
on
heard
to your
most of the
point.
season.
Luca, also to add on to your point, Cedric Obwegi.
That's another Jet.
Tyler Croft.
That's right.
They really get in there, but like Dolphins fans are talking so much shit on Twitter. Like any Jets low light, they're just going to comment on. Like Rodgers stumbling. You know, Rodgers is old, this, and this. Parry Nickerson is another former Jet. You know, when Rodgers was getting pressured in a fucking joint practice, they decided to retweet and comment on that. Like the Jets the Jets, the Jets live in the Dolphins fans.
Just think about this: if Jonathan Taylor gets traded and not to the Dolphins, you know what they'll say? Just like Dalvin Cook, we didn't want him anyway.
We didn't want him. We didn't need him.
Yeah. You know what? They don't even know how to perform a concussion test the right way. So I don't know if they're
exactly.
I'm actually interested in seeing one thing with the Jets. Now with the addition of Dalvin Cook, who's the odd man out at the running back position? I hope it's not Abakanda.
No,
he's injured. He's out for a few weeks.
Bam Knight's gone.
Okay, because I wanted to make sure at least he was safe because he was really having a good preseason.
Knight was struggling. He had a couple
he's talking
that
about
was
Bam.
the guy I would say is the odd man out. Zonovan or maybe Carter, but I don't know about Carter.
Bam was slow.
Like that.
Bam was slow.
If anything, they try to keep Bam on the practice squad.
Probably. I mean,
I think his struggles help him stay on the practice squad.
Yeah.
To me, just like like the reason why I think Michael Carter, everybody's saying now he's going to stay on the roster. Like to me, like even Primetime said this, like he looked faster in camp, but everybody was saying everybody was saying Bam Knight looked faster in camp. I disagree. I thought it was Michael Carter, and Michael Carter slowly started getting more reps with the first team while Breece Hall was out. So
I thought it flip-flopped. I thought Bam looked better based on like the footage I've ever seen from whoever posted out there. But then I think Michael Carter, played better in preseason and started slowly eclipsing him.
Right. So going back to a couple of comments that I missed, Giants Chronicle says, you're telling me if Purdy is not a top 10 QB and wins the Super Bowl, you're going to say Purdy is just a game manager?
Oh, he already is a game manager. That's absolutely his style. I don't care what you say. Okay? The kid he's basically reminds me, and it's going to sound stupid and biased, but I don't care. It reminds me a little bit of Brady in the way he manages the game. That's it. Just his managing, not talent, not the way he throws it.
That's how Brady started out as.
Exactly. He was a manager. He was thrown in for a guy who was supposed to be the franchise guy, took over for him, took him to a Super Bowl. Unfortunately, he got hurt himself, and that prevented that from happening. But I think Purdy's got something special here. I'm just hoping that Shanahan doesn't mess it up. That's it. I don't want him to mess it up.
And Purdy's coming off of a very significant injury.
Yes,
and I thought he was still going to be out for like the beginning part of the season. I thought maybe he'd come back week 7, week 8, like later on, like maybe November, like after the first 2 months.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of a big deal, though, really quick. Yes, I did say that.
I did say
that. Am I gonna have to explain it?
That Justin Fields is going to be a bust. That's what he said.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I'll explain that then. Justin Fields. Every time I watch, I just don't see the arm talent. I don't see it. I think maybe you could blame the weapons, but he had Chase Claypool late last year, barely used him. He was running for his life, mind you, yes. But I think now this is the real test, like I heard you guys saying before I came on. This is the year to get the test because he's got so much good talent around him right now. There is no reason that he shouldn't take a big step forward. Not as a playoff guy.
I think he can.
He'll make a good step forward.
I think he can do it.
I do too. I just don't know how much of a great passer he's going to be. I think he's going to be a lesser form of Lamar Jackson. Just a lesser form. He's definitely a better runner, in my opinion, than Lamar. I think he's a better runner.
I don't know. I think he's more like, I don't know. He's obviously doesn't have like the chest size or the body type of like Cam Newton, but maybe he's something like that.
The in-between.
Right, definitely the in-between. But Brian mentioned Chase Claypool. I would not mind him if he got cut from the Bears as like a third option.
But he's had a lot of problems in camp. He's struggled a lot.
He needs to be converted.
That's on him, but also the coaching staff too last year. Like it's very hard when you bring in a new player like via trade to learn a new playbook and to form chemistry with the quarterback. Like they struggled last year, and now he's struggling in camp. Like he's been there for so long with Fields since last year getting traded.
Yeah, but I think the issue also attributes to something that happened even in Pittsburgh, which I had an issue with. I think he should have been a tight end, not a wide receiver. It should have been a conversion. He's got the build of a tight end, runs like a wide receiver. It would make total sense to put him at a tight end spot and not have him as a vertical wide receiver. And even as a wide receiver 1 or 2, he was struggling. If that's the case, put him at the tight end spot. He can block. Come on. It works perfectly fine. But yet again, the Bears do need a second tight end. Right now, their main tight end is Cole Kmet, who I think is one of the most slept-on tight ends in the league. Put him alongside Kmet. You got a formidable outside. I don't see any issues. You will have great protection, no problems. Run game will be smooth. Your wide receivers can survive without him. Perfectly fine. I would love to see that conversion made. Honestly, I think the Bears are what I have them at. I think I had them at like 7-10.
I have them at like
surprisingly
8,
good.
9, I think.
I don't know about that. I still think the Packers finishing last anyway. They're not going to be good.
No, yeah. Shouts to Barbara in the chat. I want to bring this up before we do end off. And I know it's going to be more of a topic on tomorrow's show if we get it in, because we do have 53-man roster predictions. What the fuck are the Arizona Cardinals doing?
They're going to go 1-16.
They're tanking, and I love it. And they have one of the best trades. Kyler Murray is a trade asset for them that nobody is really thinking. He's under a contract. He's young. He plays the quarterback position. They will get something for him next season if they get the top 2 picks. And remember, they have the Houston Texans pick. So they could potentially have 2 top 5 picks.
Ooh. Good
yes.
point.
And also note the fact that I mentioned it in my last episode. There's going to be a huge QB revolution that happens next year. There will be. I think you remember, John, I was talking about it with me saying that the Vikings should move on from Kirk after this season if they struggle.
That could be a team in on Kyler.
The
Raiders to move on from Garoppolo.
But
just because it's the Raiders, they love headlines. If Sam Harrell stinks, or Atlanta if Ritter stinks, the Falcons and the Commanders, and those are loaded offenses.
There are a lot of teams, and there are a lot of quarterbacks coming in that are eligible that I mentioned. Drake May was one. We talked about Caleb Williams. You also got the kid from Florida State that qualifies, Jordan Travis.
Jefferson.
Bo Nix, like you said. There's also the kid from Arkansas, KJ Jefferson. You've
also
got
who else? North Carolina. May.
Yes, that was May. Yep. Jaden Daniels, LSU. I think does Hartman qualify, right, for Notre Dame?
Jordan Travis. I don't know if Hartman. I mean, Hartman's been in the college level for years, so I would assume. But also,
qualify, and he looked really good, even though it was just Navy. So that's a guy to watch as well.
Jordan Travis.
Yep, I said Travis.
What about
Shador Sanders is another one. Shador Sanders from Colorado. I'm telling you, he might be the sneakiest one of the group because of his dual threat ability. But there's so many options that can span across 3 rounds. And all these guys have starter potential in my eye. I have to watch what they do this year, but off of what they've done in the past, they all have starter potential. So many teams could easily just offboard their guys. Like you said, Kyler Murray's one guy that could be expendable for the Cardinals. Dak Prescott could be expendable for the Dallas if they don't do well this year. You could have Washington looking for something. Atlanta could be looking for something. If Tampa doesn't have an answer with Baker this year, they're going to be looking for something. If there's another team you can name, the Raiders. If Garoppolo doesn't work,
if Geno doesn't work out again,
but they got a 4-year contract with them. They can't abandon
Geno's contract is like Daniel Jones's contract. The money's within the first 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
What about the Rams, though?
If Stafford retires, I can see them. But would Arizona trade him within the division?
Probably
no,
not.
it's not that.
I mean,
it's more just having the idea of QB.
Well, you would want Stafford to go down and just play the shittiest quarterback and hopefully tank. But then you're starting from scratch and you're trading away Aaron Donald and you're probably trading away Cooper Kupp and you're starting from zero. And remember, there's no guarantee McVay's going to be back after this season.
Yeah, he could also call it and go into short retirement to be with his wife.
Hey, go get paid millions of dollars by Amazon and work Thursday night games.
Exactly. The Vikings were a team we mentioned as well. I can easily see the Titans get back in it if Levis again, because Levis is third string. I already said he was a bust from the beginning. He's third string on the roster right now, and he's going to be that way.
Nobody puts mayo in their coffee.
And nobody. If Tannehill doesn't do well, boom, now they've lost a veteran. Levis isn't working out. Malik Willis doesn't look like the future. You've got 3 quarterbacks in there, 2 guys you thought were going to be your future. Now you're scrambling, trying to figure out what do you do now. QB carousel. You look into the Browns. If Deshaun Watson becomes a problem, you've got to get a young guy in there.
They can't. That's a fully guaranteed deal.
Yeah, I'm not saying move on. I'm saying get another guy in there to learn so you get it prepared. And then for the AFC East, the Patriots are definitely going to be looking for a quarterback after this year. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
And if
Miami-
Tua decides to put things
I
aside,
know they
If Miami can't, if Tua can't stay healthy,
exactly. That's
and
another team.
I know they picked up his 5th-year option, but I think they just did that, for like media, like to save face.
Yeah,
Because, like, if-
but this is his make it or break it season.
right, 100%.
You know? This is it for him. I mean,
Right.
if he fails again, sorry.
Disgruntled says, "What do you think of the USC QB's comments wanting to see which team will pick before he declares?"
Smart. Smart.
It's smart. I can
Smart,
give you
yeah.
one name of a guy who did that, and it's someone who pains the Buccaneers' names to this day.
Didn't Peyton Manning do that too?
He did it to us.
To the Buccaneers, it was Bo Jackson. He said, "Don't draft me." We drafted him anyway, and then he didn't come to the team. Then he went to go play baseball. Then he came back, played football for the Raiders.
That's right. He chose to go play. He played the Kansas City Royals over Tampa Bay. Who chooses Kansas City, Missouri, over Tampa Bay, Florida? Are you?
Like I said, we have a very painful history. Very painful.
Well, there's also, I mean, I don't know how much of this is relevant. Also, like how much of this is true. Justin Herbert with the Giants, supposedly he was going to come out, and then I don't know, but I know people see Herbert as a social media quarterback, not just someone.
Yeah. Oh, we forgot about another team. I completely forgot them. The Broncos. If Russell Wilson completely doesn't work out, then
I think they go into full rebuild mode. I don't think they try to land another like a Kyler. I think they just try to get as many draft picks as they can and start a rebuild.
So what you're saying is that Zach Wilson is the future quarterback for the Denver Broncos?
Yes.
Got it.
It's like he'll be back in the BYU conference.
You know what? I take that back. Zach Wilson, future quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes.
Now, Aiden O'Connell's got it, guys.
There's so many notes out in Nevada. He'll have a grand old time.
And who's going to be the next head coach of that team? Obviously, it's Mike LaFleur. Come on, guys, the offensive coordinator. We got to bring the whole gang back.
Oh, you don't want to go down this rabbit hole because I could easily open this up as how Herbert is a horrible decision maker. I could easily go into that. Please don't. Please.
Brian, I'm on the side with disgruntled. I think he's still a good quarterback. I honestly think he's just the coaching around him. I really think that holds him back.
Then we need to see what happens with the change of scenery. But if that's the case, don't expect a big year from the Chargers. They'll probably maybe get another winning record, but they're not going to make the playoffs.
I don't want to say it's going to be because of Herbert.
Of course not. It's going to be coaching. Anyone who doubts the Raiders can eat their underwear, dude. Mark Davis already does that. Just stop, please.
There's more dumb dick coaches in the NFL than there.
He made Tom Brady a minority owner for image when it's going to have no impact on the team whatsoever.
Probably not.
Maybe
how many games does Brady go to Vegas for? How many?
Maybe one. Maybe.
You know what game he'll go to? Whatever game's in prime time, just to show that he's there.
The only games he's going to go to are the
Sunday Night Football against
the
the
casino. All right, that's all he's showing up to.
It's going to be Sunday Night Football
Vegas?
against the Jets.
The Chiefs-Raiders game in Vegas, he'll be there.
Yeah. He was at the preseason game. I mean, I saw the videos. They were pretty funny. Micah Parsons basically saying, "You owe me, you owe me." He's like, "I don't owe you shit. You kicked my ass."
Interesting.
Great. It was great.
Chargers QB is horrendous, and I've witnessed him ruin the team for years.
Okay, so then who's going to be the quarterback after Herbert?
I'm going to tell you this. If you put Herbert on the Falcons, I think he's better off. I actually like the coach for the Falcons. I don't hate him.
Arthur Smith.
I think he'd be better over there. That we got a spot that could be better if you're talking
I'd
about.
say Washington with what's his name, the new OC.
The enemy.
Yep, Washington. Actually, yeah, Washington would be really good. They're really.
I'd say San Francisco with Shanahan, and I would say the Rams with McVay.
But look at Darnold with San Francisco right now. It's a backup. He doesn't look half bad either.
He stopped seeing.
Jets should consider a trade.
No.
He stopped seeing ghosts. Now he just sees Angry John threatening him with a bat in the background.
Wait, hold up. I still got the bat here. It's still here. Don't worry, okay? I always have it.
It's funny how ghosts follow me and John's two teams.
God.
The Ghost with fucking Darnold and Mr. Ghost Forkball Senga with the Mets. One positive and the other's a shit ton negative.
You know what? I don't even think it's ghosts at this point. I think it's just actual people. But that's also because I don't like.
And it was fitting. It was not just a Monday night, but against the Patriots.
Oh, that was so embarrassing. Who gave him the mic? I still never found out the answer.
ESPN.
No, but who was the guy on the team that really allowed that to happen?
You.
No, what? Don't blame me.
It's always
not
your
my
fault, John. It's always been you.
I would have never gave him that mic. I would have let Adam Gase, go play with the butterflies, okay?
He was mic'd up, right? He was mic'd up himself.
Yep.
So, that's an ESPN thing. They probably have permission from the NFL when they have games. They get to mic up a player.
I would have not let it been my quarterback, especially during that. Nope.
Well,
I actually like this take from Taco. I like that one with Brady.
Brady's just making moves, so swipe off Mark Davis for a bargain within 5 years. Mark my words.
I could see it.
He says, was that worse than the Buff fumble?
No.
No.
No, that was Thanksgiving. That was New England. And that was the only game on that night after the other two games, after the Cowboy game and Lion game.
Yep.
And that covered the headlines. I don't even know the scores of the Cowboy game and the Lion game. Does that know? No, we just know that a quarterback's head went up somebody's ass.
2012 Thanksgiving is probably one of the worst Thanksgivings in history. Even my turkey couldn't watch. All right.
I actually was considering going to that game. It was either going to that game or going to WrestleMania 29 at MetLife. And I went to WrestleMania 29.
Armin, you are a smart man for that, okay?
Very smart.
You are very smart.
Well, I already know my only experience I ever had with the Jets game was the one that I went with Luca, and I really can never stop talking about that story.
Antonio Brown.
The Antonio Brown game.
I had a friend that was at that game, too. He's like, I went to the Bucks game. He's like, because he's a Bucks fan. And he's like,
okay.
I go with Antonio fucking Brown.
And we're sitting there in the section. We didn't even see him walk off. We just saw it on the screen.
Brian, I gotta ask, when did you figure out that he quit and retired?
We saw it, I'm not kidding, on the board. We were curious why everybody was talking. And then we saw it and we looked down at our phones and it said that he walked off the field and stormed off. So we're reading through it on social media as the Jets are scoring and taking their big lead on us. And then they blew the lead. And then we had the drunk Jets fans in front of us acting like douchebags, which I think you remember that, right?
Who's the former corner from that was retired as a Colt or a Dolphin?
Vontae Davis.
Yeah, Vontae Davis.
Yeah.
You know what?
At halftime.
He got cooked.
But you know what?
Yep,
that's second worst because Antonio Brown put on a fucking show.
Yeah.
And made it a spectacular. And, at least Vontae Davis went into the locker room, didn't throw a temper tantrum on the field to give, the channel ratings. I'm just retired. I'm leaving. I'm done.
Yeah.
It was 40-0 or something, or whatever the hell the score was.
Blowout.
Disgruntled says, to be clear, I'm a Raiders fan who wanted Mark Davis out ever since he became the owner.
I'm so sorry for you.
Mark Sanchez is actually a decent announcer. And yes, I did, even though I'm not a WWE fan, I did hear about
Yes.
him.
Rest in peace to both of them. Rest in peace.
Bray Wyatt really hit me hard. I'm 37. He's 36. I'm big. He died of a heart attack if you didn't know.
COVID related too.
Yeah.
He had COVID, developed a heart issue from it.
Yeah,
was on his way back, expecting to make a return, and just had a sudden heart attack out of nowhere, and it took him. So there's that. But it's okay. He's living on in memory.
I go on Twitter and I just see Bray Wyatt passed away. And I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And then I found out Triple H's Twitter, and he really posted. I'm like, please. I didn't want it to be real. I was hoping it was just some piece of shit that was in a room with no windows that had nothing better to do than hack Triple H's Twitter.
Being a troll. Yeah.
And being a piece of shit.
That wasn't the case, unfortunately. I'm telling you, a lot of people are saying the same thing. This is my generation since I'm 23. This is my generation's version of whatever happened with Eddie. because Eddie was similar with the heart attack as well.
And Eddie was 38, 2 years older.
Yep, he was only 2 years older, and he had a very, very big future ahead of him still. And tragically,
The only thing I'll
passed
say the
away.
difference between Bray and Eddie is Eddie fans knew he had a lot of drug problems and alcohol problems in his year. Like, I don't know if Bray ever did drugs. It's never been out there.
No.
Maybe he didn't. I hope, But, Eddie had a lot of demons. He had a very bad car accident in the mid-'90s that he lost maybe a year and a half of wrestling and, popping pills and alcohol, it just like.
It was definitely sad. And I mean, we're still seeing some of the great tributes coming out this week. I heard there's still more coming with WWE to be expected. So,
Yeah. Actually, today I was driving to go get lunch, and I had WFAN on. And after commercial, they were playing his first theme song, "Broken Out of Love," and they were talking about it. I'm like, as soon as I'm in the car, like, there's a fucking sign here.
yeah, man, it's still shocking, but I'm actually also still a little bit fluid with Terry Funk, and I'm actually happy about one thing today. AEW had their event in London.
Yes, I was watching it.
It was
a
very,
good show.
very good. Very good, I have to say. And that match that they had, that Stadium Stampede thing, that's a hardcore match. That's what they should have done on Friday. That's what they should have did. With the barbed wire and the broken glass fist.
Oh, WWE ain't gonna do that. They're PG. They don't need.
I know. I wish they could do the things that AEW could do. They're like a rated MA now. Like there were some things like I hear like what was the one? Some of the pipe bombs I even hear when they doing the promos. My favorite one, Freddie Prinze Jr.'s in the audience, and MJF is seeing him and talking shit. And at one point, he says, "You're nothing more than a Scooby-Dooby douchebag." It was one of my favorites. I mean, they do things so differently. It feels like the Attitude Era again. That's why it's so
Props
nice.
to the House of Black with their entrance tonight.
Fireflies.
London time. Bray Wyatt used to come out with a lantern. So the lights were out, and because they're like a dark team, like very gothic and stuff, and they came out with a lantern.
A lot of them were friends with him.
Yes.
Came up with NXT. So, yep, big deal. But I know we just went off on a whole side rail with WWE.
Fine.
Sorry about that.
Fine. You had to honor wrestling legend who died. Crossface Ray says the Buff Fumble was the greatest comedy spectacle in all sports.
There are funnier ones.
The Falcons 28-3. Super Bowl.
Thank you. That's definitely up there. Also, I would say Kirk Cousins' mustache.
Have you seen it? Like,
I'll say Kirk Cousins. I'll say Kirk Cousins with the shirt off and all those chains on him. That's a comedy spectacle more than the mustache.
Kirk Cousins now with that mustache looks like Danny McBride if he had the Hulk Hogan stash.
Danny McBride should instead of Chris Hemsworth, Danny McBride with that should have played Hulk Hogan in that biopic that supposedly Chris Hemsworth is doing.
Yeah, that's so many good moments.
Anyway, I think we're going to start closing out here. Almost 2.5 hours going strong. I'll start with Brian for final thoughts and then move up.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, yeah, a couple things. One, I'm gonna start with the fact that in the closeout, I was doing research today for baseball, and I did notice something that pissed me off. If you want to know how bad the Yankee season is, how about this? Realistically, the Mets are closer to getting a playoff spot to the Yankees right now. Let that sink in.
Can still do it.
I'm not kidding. Not kidding. The Mets are 9 games back from wild card. The Yankees are 11 games back.
It doesn't matter.
The Mets and the Yankees are on the same boat, the same toilet. They are both fucking shit this year.
I'm just
They
saying.
are both
I'm
diarrhea.
just adding in the fact that by statistical, with straight facts, in terms of games back, you are closer to a playoff spot than the Yankees are right now.
I'm so happy. That made me so happy.
Don't worry, Kodai Senga will take you there. Now, expectations this year. I mean, this was a great episode, even though it was only on for about 45 minutes. The expectations this season, I think the Jets and Giants will obviously make the playoffs. I think they're going to do really well. In terms of who's going to go farther, I don't know. Who's going to go farther?
He probably is. He probably is, Mike. Because remember, after losing everything, Buck is proud. Clown.
Okay, I'm getting lost here. All right, the Jets, I think, are probably going to get past the first round. They'll probably get to a divisional. I don't know how much farther they go from there. Giants, no offense, I still think a first-round exit for this year because I just think the matchups you're going to have are going to be pretty unfair. Like, if you have to go up against the 49ers, that's pretty unfair. If you got to go up against Philly again, that's pretty unfair. So, okay. But again, good expectations this year. You guys should both make the playoffs. If you don't, things got to be reevaluated. Yeah, there's a lot of questions going on around the league. How much is Dallas's future affected by getting Trey Lance? Hopefully not too much. The Raiders, nothing really to say. They're going to suck. Same with the Cardinals. I mean, what else is there really to say? It's going to be a lot of good teams, a lot of bad teams this year. Like last year, it felt like there was a good balance. You could figure out who was middle tier, who was good, who was not good. This year, it's going to be clear cut. Good, bad. No in between. Good and bad. But again, great talking with you guys. Great talking with Armand for the first time. And, happy I was able to be here.
Luca.
Thank you, everybody who showed out in the call-in show. Thank you, Brian, for calling in. Thank you, Armin, for coming in. Appreciate a good talk. Tomorrow, obviously, we'll do more football analysis as the preseason is coming to a close. Regular season is slowly coming upon us. Thank you all.
Luca, you forgot to talk about the Yankees.
They don't deserve my words.
They don't.
Do they need my words?
No. They're not worth talking about.
Any final thoughts, Armand?
Football's here. Roster deadline Tuesday. And just to promote this so Joe and Dan can get off my fucking case. Thursday, 8:30, Trey Wingo. Jets Turbulence Podcast.
Yeah, definitely go subscribe to them. They got some good stuff going on.
Credit to Dan for getting that.
Dan's always the one recruiting because
Well, Joe recruits the porn stars and puts them on Twitter with the Twitter video interviews. Yes, folks, Jets Turbulence Podcast. Football and porn. Ball talk. Come get some.
I won't even say I'm surprised. I won't even say I'm surprised.
It's not. John, final thought.
And Buck would be proud.
First off, thank you guys for all the comments and questions that you guys threw at us. Brian, Armin, thank you joining for the call-in show. We're back tomorrow night for our Monday podcast. We'll have the 53-man predictions for the Jets before all the cuts around the league and all the new signings. And you know what? I'm just glad we're having football conversations again. Seriously, I can't watch baseball. I can't watch crappy baseball. I can watch good teams play, but I can't watch the crummy bets and the fake tough guys on the Yankees because it's just not fun. It's all right, Brian. It's all right. But again, Alex, go ahead. I got sidetracked there. I'm still laughing.
It's funny. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe to all the good stuff. We'll be back at 8:10 p.m. Eastern Standard tomorrow. Why Luca's holding a cat, I have no idea. Also, a Big Blue in the Bronx podcast episode out tomorrow. I did reverse psychology. I did the roster prediction today. Jets recap tomorrow. A lot of good stuff coming for you guys. Mike says no more feeble Mets.
Wait, also, remember to buy your Buck is Proud shirts, guys.
Yes, Buck is Proud shirts. That. Fire Cashman, Fire Boone. Those shirts are on the shop that's in the description. Peace out to everybody who's been in here 2.5 hours. Probably one of our longer call-in shows in a while. I don't know why Luke is doing that. Anyway, peace out, guys. See you later.
Star.
I'm not even going to comment on that. We'll see you tomorrow.